experience. We wish Mike Norvell well. And Chris Thompson's the guy that he goes back a long way with. He trusts him. He's the deputy head coach. You make the head coach decisions on the sidelines. He was a head coach at Abilene Christian for about 7 years. And Kenny Dillingham, his right-hand man, will call the plays tonight without any assistance, obviously, from Norvell.
And I really think that's the biggest story, is to see how he'll do in this situation. You know, one thing that Mike Norvell shared with us is that the players are so used to Coach Dillingham calling plays and scrimmages and practices. They're very confident that the offense won't miss a beat. But, man, there's a reason Mike Norvell's the head coach and one of the best play callers in the country. So we'll kind of keep a close eye on that and see how ultimately it ends up impacting this offense.
Manny Diaz, a Florida State student. He was a grad assistant, has a championship ring from the Noles '99 championship team under Bobby Bowden. Trying to make it 2-0 against Florida State. Noles won the toss and deferred, so Miami will get the football first. And Parker Grotehouse, strong-legged kicker from Ohio, to boot it away. Cameron Harris and Mark Pope, and there's a whistle before the kickoff. Marcus Woods in charge of this ACC crew. So the fellows got a little sprint. The warm-up was kind of messed up because of the lightning. They had to go back in the locker room, come out. So it was just a little chance to get the legs stretched out, Kirk, before they kick it off again.
Exactly. If you needed just a little bit more stretch just to make sure you're ready to go, that'll help you out.
We're going to get a look at this dynamic Miami offense and D'Eriq King very soon. He was featured as a runner more in the opening win over UAB. People were concerned about the passing game. He wanted to get much better in game 2, and he did in Louisville. Lit it up, spreading the ball around to a variety of targets, and the Canes ran the ball well that game too. Let's try this again. Grotehouse with Pope and Harris deep. And kickoff is driven to the end zone, and Pope's going to let it bounce. Let's look at the Chick-fil-A impact players when the Canes have the football.
We're going to start with Cam Harris, who really gets this offense going. He's had a great start to this season. Brevin Jordan is a tight end. But in this offense with Rhett Lashley, they move him around. Expect to see him out in the slot. Florida State, we talked about Marvin Wilson, an All-American. He needs to be dominant. That defensive line needs to be dominant. And Asante Samuel, their best cover man. This secondary will be tested vertically, one-on-one. Can they hold up? And the best guy to do that is 26, Asante Samuel Jr.
A couple of picks against the true freshman quarterback Jeff Sims in the Noles opening loss to Georgia Tech. They fake it to Harris, and King flips it in the flat. They get Brevin Jordan a touch right away, and the tight end gains about 4 yards. So D'Eriq King, monster career at Houston. Kirk redshirted last year, picked Miami to run this offense that Rhett Lashley operates. And good look at game 3 of the King era. This is Harris on the pitch, and he somersaults about 2 yards short of the marker, brought down by Travis Jay.
And get ready for this team from Miami. They feel that tempo is always a big part of this offensive structure, but especially in this game against Florida State. This is not your traditional Florida State defense when you look at them on tape. They're big, but they're not as quick and as nimble and fast as they've been in years past. And because of that, Miami wants to wear down that size and then really attack them in the second half.
An early 3rd and 3. Harris picks his way up the right side and bulldozes for a first down. Yeah, it's a very different looking Noles defense. Where are all these dynamic, quick linebackers out there?
Yeah, and it's, again, Mike Norvell and Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator. This is what they inherited, and they're recruiting and trying to obviously make things better. But right now they have a very physical front, physical group of backers.
King takes a downfield shot. Going up trying to make a one-handed catch was Mark Pope. Couldn't quite dent in coverage.
Yeah, and you got Akeem Dent. We just talked about Asante Samuel. These corners are going to be tested vertically. He had a step on him. The ball just overthrown, but Akeem Dent actually not terrible coverage there. And I think Florida State's confident that they look at these they look at these Miami receivers and they think, you know, we can match up with these guys. The biggest concern is 9, Brevin Jordan.
Got away with a jersey tuck there, too. So King scrambles, delivers underneath. This is Harris out of the backfield, and he's wrestled down very quickly there by McCray, linebacker.
one of the things, Chris, when you're facing tempo like this, what they prepared with Adam Fuller is, especially early in the game, is just getting the call and getting your feet in the ground and getting lined up. Get lined up. We can't have busts the way Louisville did last week. So when you go against tempo, simplify, get lined up, and get ready to play.
So quickly, it's 3rd and 9. They'll check with Lashley on the sidelines, and you see the backup quarterback signal in side adjustments for King. A blitz, and they pick it up, and it's a completion for a 1st down. So that's the experience of the quarterback. Pope on the catch, but he saw the heat coming, Kurt.
Yeah, and by going tempo and then going kind of a delayed tempo, they were able to see that blitz and give him an adjustment and protection, just enough time to be able to have him to be able to get that ball out.
Now firing downfield again, and he overshot Jordan, who was running free.
Wow. Just, it's not like De'Ara King to miss this. Look at that. They go 3 receivers into the boundary. Creates, again, some confusion like we saw last week. That's a very unusual, unorthodox formation by Rhett Lashley to be on the right hash and go 3 receivers into that short side. Miscommunication in coverage early here for Florida State, and they caught a break by King not hitting Jordan for that touchdown.
Now, Louisville was fooled last week in a similar formation. Not fooled at all on the screen. Flying up there is Amari Gaynor, one of the top tacklers on this defense a year ago, knocking Harris down for a loss.
I think Amari Gaynor is the best player on the defense. He's a sophomore, but he's playing faster than anybody that at least I've seen in the Georgia Tech game. He just looks like 6'3", 227 pounds, looks comfortable and confident in this new scheme. They put him kind of as that hybrid over the slot. They blitz him. He can play in coverage. Keep a close eye on 33 and White tonight.
Canes have had success on 3rd and long this year. A couple of big conversions against Louisville. Had one moments ago. Now they need 12. Bulls bringing pressure. King on the run. Flips it short. Catch made by Jalen Knight. And the guy who was committed to Florida State but flipped to Miami, the top career rusher in Broward County, is ushered out by Renardo Green. And it's 4th down. Offense on the field here. They need about 3.
It's a good job by this Florida State defense, getting them into a long yardage situation. Miami anticipating pressure, rolled him away, and then setting up that screen. But they're going to go for it here.
King from the pocket delivers a strike. Easy pitch and catch, Mike Harley. And it's a 1st down. Harley had a couple of drops last week, sure-handed on that one.
And you can always expect kind of that NASCAR tempo. They get a 1st down. They're looking to try to get you out of position and go fast.
And Knight tries to cut back. Explosive player, made a big impact at Louisville. A couple of touchdowns, one running and one receiving.
Yeah, Fabian Lovett, Marvin Wilson gets most of the attention, but Big Lovett wearing that 0 on the defensive line. A good burst upfield and force that ball back inside where the rest of that flowing Florida State defense was. They'll rotate a lot of bodies, try to stay fresh. I know it's a hot and humid night down there in Miami.
You seen a nose guard wear 0?
No.
I love it.
No, he's the big fella pulling it off.
2nd and 10. King has time in the pocket, surveys and delivers another short throw, and it's complete on the far side again to Harley.
You got to get to another 3rd down. I mean, Florida State's doing their job. They're getting them to 3rd down. It's just a matter of winning one of these 3rd downs and getting them off the field.
Exactly. Priority 1, eliminate Miami's explosive plays. They've done that so far, but King has been very sharp converting on 3rd down so far. And when they didn't convert, they made it on 4th down. They need 5. Jordan, the tight end, is in the slot to the left. Harris back in the game as the back. And King down the middle. Caught. Touchdown. Jordan. That man again strikes, and Miami quickly jumps on top of the Seminoles.
Boy, Rhett Lashley and De'Ara King attacking a lot on the perimeter. Most of the throws outside. So watch his head. He looks outside, opens up the middle, and makes a perfect throw. This time, he's in sync with Brevin Jordan. They love to put him in that slot. Linebackers come up. There's not a safety there in coverage, and Jordan will make you pay. They almost hit him earlier. This time, King and Jordan in sync for the touchdown.
7 catches for 120 yards and a 47-yard touchdown against Louisville last week. How in the world if you lose track of him twice on that drive? Brevin Jordan's going to have a big night unless the Seminoles pay attention. E5G Skycast streaming live on ESPN3 and ESPN app. Impressive drive for Dee King and the Miami offense. That makes it 6 consecutive drives going back to the Louisville game when they've scored. If you exclude the kneel down at the end of the game, this is an offense on a roll right now. Jose Borregales, and you have to roll the R to do it right, and he deserves to have his name said right up. Heroics in his first game as a Hurricane. The grad transfer from FIU booted 4 field goals, including a school record 57-yarder, and a whole bunch of kickoffs were touchbacks. All right, the Chick-fil-A impact players when the Seminoles have the football. Kirk.
Well, we think the offensive line could come into play in this. First of all, we're going to look at Tamarian Terry. He's going to battle through some injuries tonight. Hopefully he'll be able to go 5. He's their go-to guy. On the right side, Love Taylor's going to have his hands full. They're going to have to chip and help him because Jalen Phillips, 15, one of the best pass rushers in my opinion in the country, most complete defensive ends, and Bubba Bolden, Chris, who you talked about, is capable of playing better, but I thought he played well last week, and kind of the enforcer back there and the communicator does a good job making sure everybody's lined up. 21 in green.
Tailback is Jayshon Corbin, the transfer from Jimbo Fisher's Texas A&M program. And it's a jet sweep motion. And coming across is Jordan Travis, the quarterback who's going to be used all over the field. They need a spark in this offense, and they think that Travis can provide it in different ways.
See, looks like Florida State will also be going with some tempo. They need to give these defensive ends and this defense some different looks to try to slow them down.
Blackman zips it far side. Catch made by Pokey Wilson. He's stopped a couple yards short of the marker by Bubba Bolden. 3rd and 2 coming up.
You see that effort there by Cameron McDonald, 87, the tight end out in front there, really going through and trying to open up that hole, and wasn't quite able to break him loose, but love the energy here early in this game from that young tight end.
Don't see Terry in the game at the moment. As you said, Kirk, they're hopeful to have him. He was out there warming up, but not in here on this 3rd down and 2. Travis in the backfield as well, and it's a shovel pass to the quarterback who shows some strength. They use the wrinkle, and they get the first down before Jalen Phillips stopped him.
And when you look at this entire offense, Jordan Travis is a backup quarterback. He's one of the most dynamic players with the ball in his hands, and they will get him on the field, not just as a quarterback with his own wrinkle and own kind of package, but also, as you saw there, as a running back, just to get the football into 13's hands.
Redshirt sophomore out of West Palms. He's played in 3 different seasons. And bursting around the left end is Pokey Wilson again. So they've run that a couple times to different directions.
Yeah. And Mike Norvell, he's very well known in the coaching fraternity is putting his script together and going with tempo because they're really prepared and dialed in. There's a good look at Terry on there on the sideline. But right now, Miami's just kind of weathering the storm against this scripted look from Florida State's offense.
Blackman from the pocket. Short pass. Caught. Corbin out of the backfield. They love to use their backs as receivers.
They sure do. And right now, I love that they're the aggressor. You know, Miami, you look at the line of scrimmage, and maybe it favors. They're good to see Terry out on the field. It favors Miami, but they're attacking. They're doing much like Lashley, giving a lot of different looks, forcing Miami to just kind of have to communicate, see how they adjust to the different formations, which will allow them to attack different later.
Pitch off to the left. And lowering the shoulder is Corbin. Sophomore, comes from Florida by way of College Station. Carter, the big hitter in that secondary on the tackle.
How about James Blackman? In his 4th year at Florida State, 4th offensive coordinator. You know, so he's really had to adjust, but I think he feels at peace with this offense of Mike Norvell's. He looks very comfortable.
Play action. Blackman rolls out, directing traffic. Now he'll take off and dive down at the 30. Molly?
Yeah, Mike Norvell told me Tamarian Terry may see some limited snaps in this game if he's not feeling 100% after sustaining an injury in that first game against Georgia Tech. And during pregame warmups, he was moving a little gingerly, especially when he's walking, and he never went at 100%. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Only guy I saw warming up at a mask as well. He's to the far left on 2nd and 6. Play action. Blackman hit as he throws and has to throw it away. And that time the pass rush makes an impact there. Keontre Smith in the striker position got close.
Yeah, and he's a backup to Frierson, but they want to get him on the field more and more. You see him kind of delay, and then he comes as the back picks up the blitzer. He's freed up to be able to come free as that striker backer, but they want to continue to get him more and more reps at that striker linebacker position, but just because of the upside and the potential because of that athletic ability and speed.
Blackman off. Travis lined up at quarterback here.
How about this formation?
Lawrence Toffoli, the talented true freshman's in the slot. He needs 6 on 3rd down. Travis looking to run, picks his way patiently and bangs forward for another 1st down. So he's converted twice with his legs.
Yeah, they put that formation in to get Miami to think, hey, they're going to go to the field. They've got 4 receivers out here all along just trying to move defenders out there, open up an opportunity to find a crease for Travis to pick up that 1st down. Well-designed play.
Now he slings it in the far side. The catch is made by Toffoli, a very dynamic young guy from St. Petersburg. Only got a couple touches the first game. Much bigger role tonight.
Man, if you're a Florida State fan, you've got to love to see this offense. They didn't look anything like this the entire game against Georgia Tech, but they are attacking in a variety of ways right now in this opening drive.
We see Roche, Miami's defensive end, was sprinting hard to get off the field as the Canes are coping with this fast-paced tempo.
The creativity.
Yeah, they'll spend a timeout. So we'll take a break. The Noles down 7, but threatening here. We'll have 1st down. He'll start next year at the historically black college.
Wish Dion all the best, and man, every time we see highlights from the 80s, the 90s, Miami and Florida State, that was as good as it got back in those days.
Dion offered his son, a quarterback, a scholarship already. He's a 4-star recruit.
I love it.
1st and goal. Travis fakes the throw and barrels down to the 1. So it's predictable, but the Canes, Kirk, have not been ready for number 13 running the ball yet.
6'1", 200 pounds, and is twitchy. And is a guy that I think is very cerebral. He can do a lot of different things, and you can see why the coaches all week, we were talking about a lot of different players who were starting, and they wanted to keep bringing up 13.
From the 1. That time they do grab him. And there's a tackle for loss, the Miami specialty.
Yeah, Bolton shot through, but the play looked to be, they've been developing so quickly. That time it looked like it was a little bit slow with the snap, and like Travis was just waiting to get started, and by then Miami had shot Bolton through and came up with a big play for that defense.
The Blackman comes back in the game on 3rd and goal.
Obviously doesn't have the mobility. They're going to have to get on the edges here.
Bunch formation. Corbin is the tailback. Blackman flips it and just short-armed it. Keyshawn Helton was wide open, would have walked in, but the ball thrown into the grass in his 4th down.
You know, he stepped up thinking he might have a chance to buy a little bit more time, and as he did, the pocket kind of collapsed on him, and the only thing he was left to do is almost a jump pass. He just couldn't put anything on it. That's why the accuracy was affected.
And going for it, and Travis is back in at quarterback.
They like to use those receivers one way and run 13 the other.
And a whistle before the snap. Oh boy. There's only 13,000 here, but a mental error by the offensive line.
Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It's the guard, Davian Johnson, who's a senior. Very experienced guy, cerebral offensive lineman.
Set the game clock to 5:15.
Well, that is very clear, and it moves the ball back to the 8-yard line, and it will change the approach. Now a field goal. Ouch.
Yeah, great opening drive for Florida State. They wanted to finish it off with a touchdown, and after that penalty, they just want to be able to get points after putting in all that work.
Chip shot for Ryan Fitzgerald, who takes over as kicker. First career field goal attempt. The guy who holds the Georgia high school field goal record. 26 yards. No problem. But not exactly what the Noles were looking for. They do take it 68 yards in 14 plays. A methodical drive. This was their chance. Stop. Florida State kicking it away now, and King and company will go back to work. from the goal line. Pope has a little crease, accelerates, a flag flies, 2 of them, as he's tackled at the 34. See so few kickoff returns these days. And penalties are one reason why it's probably a good idea to leave it in the end zone. Get an update momentarily from Kevin Nagani in the studio. It's been a wild late afternoon in college football. A lot to talk about.
Do the return. Holding. Receiving team. Number 21. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And it's Bubba Bolden on the hold, and to Kevin.
Chris, our Fansville studio update brought to you by Dr. Pepper. We go to Lubbock. It was crazy. After Texas scored 15 points in the final 3:13 of regulation to force overtime, Sam Ehlinger to Joshua Moore, and then Caden Stearns seals the comeback with the pick. 63-56. Texas survives to beat Texas Tech. Highlights coming your way. Back to Chris, Kirk, and Molly.
Even wilder than that Crabtree Red Raider victory we saw over the Longhorns.
Oh, my gosh. The Big 12. You never know what you're going to get, right?
Pop pass to Knighton, and a nice first down gain of 8 for the freshman. For fellow freshman Dix Jr. stopped him.
I can't wait to see. Let's see how Adam Fuller and this Florida State defense adjusts to that up-tempo style and the variety of formations and attacks that Miami did.
King on the keeper is stopped behind the line. Tackled by Dix again.
Yeah, he's a young freshman. Adam Fuller loves him. Mike Norvell both. They think he has a tremendous upside. So we talked 33 Gainer, who's a young sophomore. Now there's Stephen Dix at number 32 as a freshman. Both can make plays in space.
You saw a shot of Fuller there trying to stop Lashley's offense tonight. We had that wild Memphis SMU game a year ago, won by the Tigers late. More than 100 points scored. A nightmare for defensive coaches, but a lot of fun to watch.
Right.
We need 4 on this third down. King has time, zips it across the middle, and the catch is made for a first down. Great job by Harley to hold on as he took a shot.
Yeah, he is a very tough slot receiver, has great quicks, a veteran, been around a lot of different systems, a senior. That time showed his toughness going in there into the teeth of that defense, coming up with a big catch on third down.
King from the pocket, and miscommunication. That time Pope broke the route off, and the quarterback airmailed it. You'd like to see a guy like Harley Kirky. Had a couple of drops. They said he had a phenomenal week at practice. You need to see a veteran respond like that, because the receivers would like to join the fun here. We've seen the backs and the tight ends contribute, not so much for the Miami wide receivers in the first 2 games.
Yeah, and I think Florida State wants to see if the Miami receivers can beat them. They want to try to avoid, even though it hurt them in the first drive, Brevin Jordan in the backs beating them, see if they can make those receivers make plays.
King has to sidestep the rush. So elusive, gets away and bursts for a first down out near midfield. It should have been a loss, and he got away, made him pay.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget about how creative and how dangerous he is with his feet. I mean, he's really, to me, known as a great passer. But as we saw in the opening game against UAB, if you give him a seam, he's going to take it and pick up big yards.
Harris tries to bounce it, and the big fella, who's a strong runner but has also flashed some speed in the secondary, a nice game. Bernard Green forced him out.
They're going to stretch you horizontally. They're going to stretch you vertically with their passing game when they create those vertical seams, and they're going to pound you with Harris. I mean, it's just what they do in this offense, and then they're going to mix in some explosives.
King on second down, launches downfield. Receiver tangled up there. Dee Higgins looking for a flag, and the crowd, as small as it is, making a lot of noise. Asante Samuel Jr. was in coverage.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just incidental contact. I mean, he's on an island. It's one-on-one, good against good. Actually, really good technique there by Samuel. Looked like their feet just got tied up there.
Another third down for Miami. The 6th already in this first quarter. They converted 4 or 5.
The best thing about an incompletion on second down, defense has a chance to make adjustments, make substitutions, catch your breath, and now they can get aligned and ready to go on third down.
Out of the backfield. Pass slipped on the far side there. They are hard to stop on third down. The pre-snap adjustments the eyesight of King and his accuracy. That's Michael Redding, the freshman, on the catch.
Yeah, and when you bring pressure, you have to respect the potential of these receivers going downfield, but you need some awareness of the sticks and where the down and distance is, kind of that situational awareness on third down.
Okay. Jump ball just over the hands, trying to get the ball to Redding again. Redding, a good-looking freshman.
Yeah, it's nice to see Redding, the true freshman, get a chance. He actually got a step on Dent and was able to get behind him. Second time we've seen Dent with a receiver into the boundary there with a receiver to be able to get behind him, and King not being able to find him for a big play.
Good to give guys like Redding a chance to make plays. They get Jeremiah Payton back. He missed last week's game at Louisville. Second and 10. And delivered over the middle, and that's the other tight end, Will Mallory. Flag comes in on the tackle. He was hit hard and is still down.
Yeah, he took a big shot there.
His helmet yanked up.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 6. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Jaden Lars would be the Bucs safety guilty of the 15-yarder.
Yeah, one of the reasons you can move Brevin Jordan out, that clearly he grabs it. A good call there. You see Gaynor coming in there. That's where you saw the big hit. But with Jordan stretched or flexed out a lot, it's because of the way Will Mallory has been coming on and continuing to make plays for them. He's more your traditional tight end at 6'5", 245 pounds. A real threat in line in this offense.
Games in the red zone, Kirk. 8 different Hurricanes have caught passes in the first quarter. 8.
Very similar to what we saw last week.
Number 1 can spread it around. He's still got the football. Looking to run, extend the play, flips it high, and incomplete. Harley was making a huge effort to reach up and get the ball. Travis Jay gave him a shot.
Yeah, it was a great fake. I think part of most of that defense thought that they were running the football there. Big time hit there to dislodge that football. Well done there to be able to get him off the ball, Travis Jay. But Chris, I'm going to talk real quick about the offensive line. There's so much that happens and it's so fast. We talk about King and the skill. This offensive line gave up 51 sacks last year. Now, they were very young. They've got a new system. They've got more maturity to them. But think about 51 sacks last year. These guys, some guys that moved around. There's some new faces. Jared Williams came over as a transfer from Houston. But right now they're doing a very, very good job. And the system getting the ball out faster is also helping them.
Kind of a delayed call. They got Clark, the left guard, as an ineligible man downfield. So the 5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 15. They're responsible for no sacks and only a handful of pressures this offensive line. That's remarkable after the nightmare of last year and really in recent years.
Yeah.
And another whistle at the snap. It's going to be a false start. So 2 5-yard penalties after the Canes had moved the ball down into the red zone.
Offense number 6. 5-yard penalty.
This is the part that drives Manny Diaz and Rhett Lashley crazy when people are asking them, boy, you guys look great against Louisville. And that's what they were talking about, how we got to tighten it up. And in fact, Rhett Lashley was saying we're still trying to learn that details matter. The consistency in those details are what's going to make you, instead of just an offense that can flash, it's going to make you an offense that every week becomes an identity.
And 1st and 20, they flip it to Cheney in the flat. And the freshman weaves his way down near the 12. A tremendous tandem of Cheney and Knighton. Kind of guys that Florida State actually used to come into South Florida and get and then beat the Canes with in their winning streak.
When I see 2 in a Miami Hurricane uniform, I think of Willis McGahee, and he kind of reminds me of McGahee when he gets out there to run.
He's got the ball again, slips and makes the cut, but it's been a streaky rivalry because the Noles would come get guys like Devontae Freeman and Dalvin Cook, who both played at Miami Central High School. Then they would come back and beat Miami.
Right.
Lately, the Canes have been keeping those kind of running backs.
And that's what's on the line here tonight. You know, it's not just you're trying to win a game. Every time these teams get together, this is just not just bragging rights. It's also an opportunity to say, this is where you want to play. We're going to try to plant our flag and say, hey, recruits, we're the program with all these new coaches. We're the program you want to be a part of.
In the flat, right at the marker. Dee Higgins was cut down. It's close. You see where they spot. I thought he was knocked down by Samuel short of the line.
By the way, you see all these defensive linemen. Remember I talked about them rotating? It's because this tempo, it's the hardest on the defensive linemen. Those big bodies get tired.
First and goal. Cheney slams forward.
But Cheney's 5'10", 210 pounds. He's got a lot of juice. He's got a lot of speed. But I love how he lowers his shoulder and takes on those linebackers. He's going to be a superstar in this offense.
Ellen Jesuit High School. Cheney and Knighton already forming a close bond. It's very rare to have two primo running backs from the same area in the same recruiting class.
Yeah, really is.
Cheney signed first, and then Knighton flipped from FSU. We're going to review something in this play. And we'll bring in Bill Lamagna, who's also virtual but closely connected to us, to see what might be reviewed, Bill.
Well, I didn't say anything particular that jumped out on this play, but I wonder if they got a buzz just prior to the snap to go back and look at whether that was a first down or not. Because that's a critical spot here.
I think you're exactly right. I think you're right. They waited a bit, but then saw something that indicated maybe they should look at this. Here it is, Bill.
Yeah,
Wiggins.
From the original view, I had him short, which is elbows down, the ball's short of the yellow line there.
Looks like about a half yard.
Reversing.
Yeah, live I thought he was clearly short, and instead of first and goal, it would be fourth down if they spot the ball back.
I was surprised how quickly you're right, they spotted the ball, and it was, well within the yardage he needed for the first down.
Well, if I can, to Miami's credit, if you think you got a break on something like that, you're going to run to the line quick, because they want that first down.
It's a serious challenge, these tempo offenses, for officials and replay booths as well. Another look. Watch where his elbow goes down, right there. And it appears to be about the 7.5 yard line. So I would say about a half yard short.
Oh, there's your look right there.
Line to make Cam. Elbow down right now.
Yeah, it's a half yard short.
So you keep the offense on the field, Kirk, and go for it? Sorry, Bill, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things I don't see happen as much these days is if we felt the play was hot on the field, and this one was hot, is it a first down or not? It's close, critical time. We'd be very deliberate trying to give replay a chance to take that look, and we're not going to let that team just run to the line and snap the ball. So I'd like to see the officials slow it down a little bit when they recognize the play is hot.
Good point. If they do space the ball back, Kirk, in a fourth down play,
got to go.
Easy decision here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just because of the way this game has gone, the way this offense has been in just their two drives, they've been the aggressor. It'd be shocking to be the aggressor and having things going pretty positively for you, and then be short on a half yard and say, okay, let's bring the field goal unit out. I just think the flow of this game and the vibe of this game, and the kind of the identity that they're trying to create here is kind of an aggressive culture, and I think they'll go for it.
Actually known for hyperspeed offenses, and the Canes about to run their 27th play in the first quarter.
Prior to the previous play, we were contacted by replay. The runner was short of the line of the game. It will be fourth down at the 7.5 yard line. Please set the game clock to 52 seconds. 52 seconds.
Marcus, we could have told you that about 5 minutes ago. Right?
In fact, not only do you go for it, but you keep that tempo mentality, get up to the line of scrimmage and go fast. Even if they have a quick huddle here, I think you try to try to continue to give them a different look. You got Mowry in the backfield right now. Look at that formation.
Cameron Harris set to take the direct snap. He's got it, and he's got the first down. Bulldozing down inside the 5.
Yeah, there wasn't any hesitation there. They knew right away if we're short, we're going to go to this look and a look that they don't show very often. Their short yardage look with Will Mowry, 245 pounds, moves from tight end to more of a fullback to lead the way there.
Mallory still in the backfield in this first and goal play. Harris dives, touchdown, Miami. 2 possessions and 2 scores for the Canes.
How good of a start of the season is 23 off to for this offense? I mean, he was instrumental last week. We saw him play really. That's a touchdown. We saw him play well in their opener, and now he gets another touchdown tonight. So he is a physical back, but he's worked so hard to improve, become an all-around back. He's worked hard in that weight room. There's a progressive pylon cam that shows you it's a touchdown. But Cam Harris punches it in for the Canes.
Good look from the progressive pylon cam. 15-play, 79-yard drive. Not only does Miami build the lead, Kirk, they are tenderizing this Seminole defense, who've been on the field 28 plays in the first quarter already.
Exactly what they don't want to do, and it's exactly what Miami wants to do. Not just put up points, but I talked about in the open, the tempo, a big part of how they're going to attack this defense and wear them down, and they wear them down in this offense to really, it's like body blows, and then they get you into the third and the fourth quarter, and that's where the big plays come because you're mentally fatigued, you're physically worn down, and that's where this offense can really hurt you.
Harris has made it a tradition to turn down the touchdown rings, the fancy rings with all those jewels that say the crib. He turned them down, said give them the offensive line last week. They didn't want him either. Nobody on that offense wants to take credit for what has been a tremendous role.
I mean, you can laugh about that, but I think it's representative of the mindset of this team. It's more of a, at least in these guys' case, it's more of it's like a business trip. Like we're just getting started. We're in the first quarter, but I think that's a different mentality than's been around the Miami teams in the past, and I think it just shows you their dedication to the job of what they have to do tonight.
And Borregales to kick it away. 148 yards of offense for Miami in the 2 methodical marches, and this line drive way out of the end zone. Well, the touchdown chain has been famous here for the last 4 years. The offense getting to join things with the touchdown rings. A.J. Machado is the jeweler down here in Miami, and he's created these rings.
I could go to Tuscaloosa, I could go to Gainesville, I could go to Tallahassee and make those schools great, but why not make the crib great?
As Nestor J. Silvera, and the crib is then adopted as the jewels for the offense. But again, you got a bunch of unselfish guys who don't want to dominate. The defensive guys say, give me the chain. When I make a takeaway, give me the chain.
Right.
305 was last year's turnover chain, which made 3 appearances a week ago in Louisville. And another pre-snap whistle.
Delay a game.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Boy, that will drive you crazy to start a drive. And remember, they script their first drive. They had their opening drive in their game against Georgia Tech, and they looked very, very good in their opening drive. Now it's about trying to make adjustments for the Miami defense, and it puts a lot of pressure now on Kenny Dillingham to call the plays. Tough way to start the drive.
Pop pass, and he was swarmed. Jalen Phillips just invaded the backfield to knock Scary Terry down.
Well, they're trying to come up with ways to make Jalen Phillips have to think. They did a good job of that in the first drive. This time, Phillips anticipating it, saw him coming in motion, and I think he realized there's a chance he's going to have the football and makes the play right there. He's a special talent, 15 in green.
End of the first quarter here in Miami. A couple of long marches by the Hurricanes. They lead at Fort. Jordan Travis at quarterback. 2nd and 19 to start the second quarter, and the jet sweep as Corbin is wrestled down very quickly and making an impact as run stoppers of these defensive ends. That was Roche.
Yeah, Roche getting upfield in a hurry, just goes right by Darius Washington. Remember, I said the opening drive is scripted. They were aggressive. They were attacking. They were one step ahead of Miami. In this second series, it's a different feel with Miami now making adjustments and having a little bit more awareness to what's coming.
There's a whistle way before the snap here. Another flag.
False start. Offense 0. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
It was Corbin who carried the football, getting a quick jump. This is exactly what the Noles did not need as a team is the offense to go backwards here, and a potential quick 3-and-out quick put that defense back on the field.
And now you're just looking at a screen or a draw. You just don't want to make a critical mistake. If I were up there with you, Chris, I'd be circling 15 in green on the far left there of the defense.
The telly's a long way from me. I think you made your point. You ID'd him, and he crashes down. They get a quick burst up the middle, and Corbin does a nice job weaving through heavy traffic. Had too far to go on 3rd and 29.
Yeah. Like I said, 3rd and 29, you just screen or a draw, something simple, deep in your own territory, pick up some yards and try to flip the field the best you can.
Alex Mastromano is one of the 2 Aussies punting in this game. Mastromano
fired up
for Miami. Yeah, they both
that's
trained
the
together.
first thing you look at every week. Do they have an Aussie punter?
They're both from the Melbourne area. They trained at Pro Kick Australia. I got the lowdown. We get into the punting duel.
It's all you. Yeah. It's all you. You and Pat McAfee. You got all the punting.
Bart Pope standing at his 27. And the Aussie doesn't roll out. He kicks what they call a spiral. And there was some contact made as Pope went up to make the fair catch. No flag, but Miami set up at the 43-yard line. Roll right now.
Yeah, a couple drives, and it's just been the fact that they're using so many different formations, so many different personnel groups. It's confusing Miami, and then it's the tempo, right? Now your eyes in the wrong spot. That's all it takes, and D'Eriq King makes you pay for it. So couple drives, couple touchdowns. Right now the Florida State defense reeling.
And that's incomplete. A flag as Harley was grabbed on the slant. He's one of 9 different receivers to catch passes already tonight. Pass-heavy scheme.
Pass interference. Defense number 14. Yeah. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
You got a linebacker, McCray, trying to stay with a receiver. You could see he got inside of him, and he just grabbed onto the back of that jersey, tried to pull him in. They're not afraid to attack in there. I mean, that's what the big guys are, right? Those middle linebackers. But they're throwing those quick slants to Harley, and he's not afraid to go in there.
Chain's not even set up yet, but the Canes with a first down in FSU territory. King flips it in the flat. Jordan trying to dance free. And that's a tight end. Look at the quick feet.
He is a player that I think is going to explode this year. He's one of the biggest beneficiaries of this offense because of how versatile he is. You know, he's a tight end, but really he's become a receiver. They do a lot of different things with him.
Pope has a blocker, scoots down the sidelines to see where they mark him out. It'll be all the way to the 25-yard line, and now a flag comes in very late, and they'll tack on 15.
Boy, it's McCray again. He's a backup linebacker on the inside to Emmett Rice, and a couple miscues here, but a quick play, quick execution. They get the ball to Pope, a great block in front of him, allows him to get downfield, and then you can see McCray at the end just kind of lose his cool.
Late hit out of bounds, number 14 defense. Half the distance to the goal.
And you're seeing a defense that is both gassed and frustrated by what's going on so far in this game.
Chris, you see how quick the ball got snapped. Florida State was turning around. Defensive lineman turning around, getting the call, and they weren't even ready for the snap. And then there you can see he holds him up, and then he just decides to. That's the frustration you're talking about there. And right, just like that, by the way, they're at the 12-yard line.
First 2 drives long and methodical. FSU making this one very easy for Miami. Harris has got it, and he will score untouched, and the Canes are rolling. Touchdowns in their first 3 possessions.
Boy, they have looked great, and again, doing it different ways. This time you got the 5 linemen, great double team there on the left side. Clark does a good job collapsing on the big defensive lineman and gets up to the backer. Opens that up, and there's nobody left there to slow down Harris as he takes another one into the end zone.
Scores from 12 yards out. They moved it 57 yards in 3 plays in less than a minute with the help of those penalties on Florida State. And Miami in total.
Food and an ice-cold Coke Zero Sugar. Together taste better.
As a Big Noles comeback 6 years ago, they were 16 zip down, won at 30-26. But they don't have Jameis Winston, Dalvin Cook on the team tonight. And Miami has Cam Harris, who's found the end zone a couple of times.
Chris, this Miami offense, it's reminding me of one of those college offenses that if you get behind them, you're not going to catch up to them. They are, because they don't let up. You know, they have that mindset of just not stopping. So 21-3 is a big hole against anybody, but especially against Rhett Lashley's style of offensive attack.
Yeah, he's full throttle all the time, isn't he? Travis Jay will lead this. Molly, what do you have on the sidelines?
Well, guys, Rhett Lashley was full throttle on the sidelines, just running up and down the sideline, yelling, "Do not let up on the gas." It's like Kirk heard him all the way from his home. And Dee King told me he loves Rhett Lashley because of his aggressive style. It makes this offense believe that they can do anything.
Well, you know, Molly, if you combine the execution with a quarterback that understands what Rhett Lashley wants to do, and you got players around him that are believing, the culture is changing right in front of our eyes for this Miami team.
We'll see if Blackman and the Noles can answer somehow. And you're right, it feels like there's urgency when the opponent gets the football. Louisville felt that a week ago against this Miami team. It adds pressure to them.
It really does. And you have an interesting, I know, stat going back to the Louisville game and then continuing here tonight, but it adds pressure to James Blackman because all of a sudden you feel urgency. You want to press. You want to try to make plays to try to stay up with them. It's the worst thing you can do. You have to fight against that.
Play action. Blackman still has the football, tries to extend the play, has room to run, and long strides it out near the 34-yard line. Bradley Jennings forced him out. It'll be 3rd down and short.
They want to see James Blackman try to be more patient in the pocket. One of the things they've seen early this year is him come off of his first and second receivers, and then he bails. He wants to get out of there, and that time he needed to, just to be able to pick up some positive yards.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers on 3rd and 3, and the catch is made. So 1st down, Warren Thompson went down low and grabbed it.
Good job on 3rd down and positioning of that ball.
Actually, they're calling it, they're waving it off.
Oh, yeah.
It's an incomplete pass here.
I saw Frierson kind of, it looks like,
my bad, yeah.
Oh, he almost came up with the ball, actually. It hit the ground. Yeah, he got his hand in there. That's a heck of a play by Gilbert Frierson. Got around the body, got his hand in there. That's a great look at it right there. Big time play by Frierson.
Big time. Apologies. So another punt for the Florida State offense. Pope standing at his 21. And that Florida State defense, helmets on, has to go back out there. And this is not a good punt. Mastromano high and very short, but it's dropped over there. Pope came charging up. Is this the break the Seminoles needed? It was so short a punt that it was awkward to field it. And the second time that he's lost a punt this year. Miami's offense doesn't have a turnover, but he's muffed a couple of punts. It's UAB, and now tonight, Samuel Jr. On the recovery.
Yeah, there were, a mental error. He's out of control there, just trying to get underneath the ball, and he finally gets to it and actually was in position. He just wasn't able to secure it. And Asante Samuel, as you said, right there to pick up the football for Florida State. And they catch the break. That's the break that they needed. Let's see what this offense can do with it.
Samuel, the guy that picked off a couple passes last week. Nobody had more than 2 interceptions for Florida State all of last year. Fumble recovery. The Noles set up at the 39. It's a reverse, but retreating and dropped all the way back to the 40 is Travis. And the ball's out. A turnover for Florida State. A disastrous play. One play after they were given a gift. They tried trickery. The Canes were ready for it. And the ball came out.
It's actually really good play by Silvera. There's the turnover chain. Big fella, number 1. Watch him in the middle of their defense. For a defensive lineman, the awareness right there. He, instead of chasing, he sees the quarterback, Travis, coming his way and aborts where he was headed and makes the play right there. And that's just obviously a mistake by Jordan Travis, just throwing the ball up there. And how about the athletic ability by Jalen Phillips at 6'5", 265 pounds to go airborne and come up with that football.
I mean, it's his job to get ahead with the quarterback and stop the run on the edge, not to make interceptions, but you see the sheer athleticism, both of Silvera and the speed in there. And then Phillips, of course, the former Uber recruit to UCLA, has had an injury-plagued career in Westwood, came here. Now they've got 15-yard unsportsmanlike contact penalty at the end of the interception play. But first time in his Miami career, he'll get to don that turnover chain 4.0, which pays tribute to Howard Schnellenberger, the state of Miami. So you got Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach with the colored jewels at the bottom of the state. In Miami back in those days would try to build a fence around this part and get all the top recruits. Not a bad plan if you can do it.
I think Silvera should get a chance to wear that for a few seconds because the play that he made. I mean, it was incredible effort by Phillips to go airborne, but Silvera really ends up making that play. Oh, there you go. There you go.
They can share that thing.
Yeah.
King fires. Jordan again can't slip a tackle this time. Dropped after a 4-yard loss. You know, the protocol with that chain, you're supposed to put the mask on, get to wear the chain, then they have to disinfect it, and it's all 2020 stuff. The Canes decided to spread it around.
Man, this is a story. I mean, this is not just a story tonight. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to get too excited ahead of myself, but Miami has a bye week next week, and they travel to Death Valley to take on Clemson. And a lot of people are watching this Miami team right now with their eyebrows up saying, these guys look different. They look good.
Knight and Powers for a first down. You think this is the kind of thing that Dabo Swinney's staff will take close note of with that game looming?
The whole country's watching Miami. Miami's one of those brands that when they look good, people take notice. And it's you know, last week, you know, people were saying, well, it's Louisville and they're playing Florida State here tonight. And it's just, I don't even care who they're playing. It's the execution, the consistency, the energy. This is a team right now.
King rolls out, looks downfield, caught, touchdown, Dee Higgins, and Miami is pouring it on.
Well, to get a reaction like that from Rhett Lashley tells you that they worked on that play all week, knowing that they'd get a certain look, and when they do, you got to make the throw. How about Marvin Wilson hitting King as he throws ball, and his hands in there, one-on-one. There's nobody there in the back to help out, and just nobody can stay. In that case, with Dee Higgins, he gets behind the coverage from Brownlee for the touchdown.
That's a great point. The 305-pounder bearing down on King, who stood in there and delivered a strike. Miami, listen to this, the last 9 possessions. Touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, 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 touchdown. Yikes. All set up by the athletic pick, Jalen Phillips, and then the quarterback standing and delivering despite the big hit. And it's Dee Higgins running free, 23 in 20 minutes of action, 185 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Miami still perfect, 4 touchdowns on their 4 possessions. That last one especially damaging, the interception by Phillips, one play after Pope had muffed the punt, setting up the Noles in plus territory. Let's get out of the Bears den. I don't know where the bear is. I think are you in South Florida, Bear? The Aflac trivia question?
I am in South Florida. I am in the compound, and I do have tonight's Aflac trivia question. It's not looking like it's going to happen this evening, but what was the last ranked team that an unranked Florida State team went on the road and beat? And who was Florida State's starting quarterback that night?
Did they get you a set of the rings, by the way?
No. That is the actual ring and the chain from. I'm going to take all credit for this performance so far.
That's the real thing?
It's the real thing.
I was too distracted, Kirk, to even pay attention to the question.
I know. I didn't even hear the question. I was just checking out the bear, the mask, and the rings. I didn't even hear anything else.
Something about unranked Florida State upset.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about Bear being a former Hurricane himself, how giddy he must be with the potential of this team and the energy of this team. This is, like I've said last week, a very, very different feel to this Miami Hurricane team.
Dante Lucas on the offensive line of the Noles had a helmet ripped off. There's a penalty on the field here.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 15, his first 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And it's Jalen Phillips, the stud defensive end, who just made that interception. But those kind of mental mistakes, the undisciplined plays, definitely not going to please Diaz. I believe he kicked the helmet after it was on the ground, and he'll have a chat with Manny about that.
That's great, because Manny's trying to teach them, like we keep talking about culture, up 28-3. It's not just about the rings and having fun on the sidelines. It's about not losing your focus and playing in the game like it's 3-0 or 0-0. And that, you know, Phillips needs to buy into that. He's a leader in his team. Players are going to follow his lead and how he acts. And with up a 28-3 lead, you know, offense is keeping their foot on the accelerator. Defense needs to keep playing with the same focus they started this game with.
Well, the whole team is going to run at practice for that penalty. That's the way Manny does it. Bradley Jennings on the tackle of Corbin. He's down on himself.
Yeah.
Momentary loss of focus there, boys, but he's going to be back out there. He's already made an impact in this game.
And the reason he makes everybody run, of course, is for accountability, right? I mean, instead of just making that one player, guys that didn't do anything are out there running, looking at 15, saying, hey, man, what's up? What, we're running because of you? I mean, I think it's smart.
Torian Terry is in the game, split wide to the left. Still looking to make an impact play as a receiver, as Blackman is chased and has to just throw it away. So many times this quarterback's been pressured. 24 pressures by Georgia Tech in the opener. That is a ton, and they're piling up tonight, Kirk.
Yeah, and that was the concern coming into this game against this defensive front. They don't even have to blitz against Florida State's offensive line, and they can get home. Keep going back to this. Mike Norvell put together his script and his opening drive package, right? And that was the drive where they almost were able to put up a touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal. It was like a 13 or 14 play drive. Since that drive and that scripted drive, now they've had to adjust to what Miami's doing defensively, and obviously they've not had much success at all.
Eddie Dillingham calling the play on third down, and they didn't get the backside pressure. Zach McLeod, the blitzing linebacker, got Blackman.
Yeah, just nobody picks the blitzing linebacker. You see him on the edge there. They brought 3 to that side, and the tackle that time, Washington, stayed to the inside. He did not feel that he needed to go out and pick that blitz up, and McLeod with that speed, nobody picks him up. An easy sack for 53.
Huge game against Louisville. A sack, a forced fumble, recovered a fumble, 9 tackles. One of the leaders and the community leaders. Just kind of a model Kane off the field. Makes the big play to end another drive. Hope this time fields it cleanly, but nowhere to run. Stopped short of the 30-yard line. 8:26 before halftime as we check in with Kevin Nagandi.
Chris, we got the opener. South Carolina hosting Tennessee. Colin Hill at quarterback. Henry To'o right there at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Breaking off one tackle, and he's got an army of white in front of him to the house for the touchdown. Tennessee up 14-7 at the break on the SEC Network. Back to you guys.
Really interesting, wild results in the SEC, which of course played today. Well, Mike Leach going to LSU and deflating the defending national champions.
Well, that was an incredible performance.
King, a straight run, just bolts around the corner and has a nice gain. Mark him out across the 35.
How about K.J. Costello and Mississippi State with all the talk about Mike Leach and the air raid coming into the SEC and how's it going to do? First game, he breaks the record, the history of the SEC single game passing record.
600 plus. He smashed the record.
Yeah.
Harris going to be stopped about a yard short of the marker.
We might break down every SEC game in the second half. So we could go game by game.
Here's the graphic for Costello. You wonder how would Mike Leach do in the SEC? People always used to disparage kind of that kind of attack, and well, SEC defenses, they'll shut that right down. Costello, of course, coming from Stanford. That's not a bad debut. That'll serve notice across the SEC West. Harris bounced off a tackle. King throws a block out there, and then big fella barrels for a first down out to the 45.
I tell you what, man, that run is representative of 23's attitude, Cam Harris. It's one thing to show touchdown runs. That might have been my favorite run that he's had this year. 3rd and short. Florida State's anticipating him getting the ball. They have him stopped. Leg drive, the work he put in the offseason in the weight room. Leg drive, bounces off it. De'Ara King gets out in front, and he picks up the first down.
Now King scrambling up the middle, a spin move, a huge collision on the quarterback. He was hit hard by Gaynor and Emmett Rice. Good to see him hop right up.
as if this offense isn't tough enough, right? The tempo, they spread you out all over the place. You got to deal with different formations and personnel groupings, and if you finally get it right and everyone's covered, then you got to worry about one taking off and scrambling for yards.
Hand it off inside to Knighton, and the stutter step, and Gainer makes the tackle, but this is a Florida State defense that better dig real deep right now.
Yeah, and Miami just keeps rotating bodies into that backfield. They have 3 different guys that can carry the ball.
Knighton's got it again, makes a cut, and dives for about a 4-yard gain.
So when you start running the ball and you're throwing, you've hit some big plays. What's happening right now, the Florida State defense, not only are they tired, but the safeties and the linebackers in their eyes, it's really a challenge because your eyes are in that backfield, and you have to be respectful of the fact that Harris could come at you, Knighton could come at you, Cheney can come at you. Then he's going to put it in there and pull it out, and now you got a one-on-one matchup, and you can get downfield and make a big play in the passing game.
Knighton's got it again into the secondary, and the Rooster, as a flag comes in, just delivers the blow to the tackler, Lars Woodley there.
Well, he wasn't afraid to lower his shoulder, was he?
Holding, offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's the guard, DJ Scaife. No, he was not. That's a speedy back, a flashy guy, but also showing the toughness as Lars Woodley, I think, did well to get up after that blow was delivered.
Almost feels like Miami, the only way they may get slowed down tonight is if they self-destruct and have penalties and their own miscues.
Second and 16 for the hold. King continues to be extremely efficient. It's Knighton in motion. They fake it to him, and now they flip it high to Jordan. Knowles were all over the tight end that time. A short gain. It'll be 3rd and long.
Moving Jordan around again tonight. That's kind of his role, his new role in this offense, known again as coming out of Las Vegas. Bishop Gorman is a traditional tight end, but he is flourishing in this system. You see him flexed out there as a receiver in the slot, off to the left.
Knowles trying to get this Miami offense off the field on 3rd and 10. Maybe we'll get to see our guy Borregales try a long field goal. Unless they convert. They've been converting all night. Play clock at 5, and the whistle before the snap. Timeout was called by Florida State. So they spend one on defense. Not liking what they saw from Miami's offense right there. 4:42 before halftime. Miami trying to build on a big lead. We'll take a break.
The super big 85-inch Samsung QLED TV brings the game home. Sure, a TV this big makes Kid Series look ginormous. A QLED TV. Game shows.
Celebration. We weren't aware of that, but with the second, he is now ejected from the game. So the star defensive end who made the interception earlier headed to the sidelines or in the locker room. And Miami now in this 3rd and 10. King flushed, flips it short, and Harris has got the outlet. That's his specialty, hurdling tacklers. He lost the ball, went out of bounds, tried to jump over Jay, so the Hurricanes keep the football and get a 1st down.
Yeah, Florida State brought the blitz. They were hoping to get home, but nobody left to pick up the back out of the backfield. And you're right, Harris likes to do that. He's been airborne a few times, and looks like Florida State did their homework. They were ready for him to go airborne, and that time Travis Jay dislodged the ball.
King on the keeper, takes a shot. I might want to limit the hits on the quarterback at this point. If you're calling the plays for Miami, if you're Lashley, maybe let him hand off and throw it, huh?
I know, but again, Rhett Lashley's not even, to him, it's a tie game. You know, as far as the mentality and the play calling, they're not even thinking about let's pull back with
I hear you.
Running.
There's maybe a long way to go, though.
I know.
It's Cheney in motion. The Kings looking back this way, and the ball is batted down. Very quickly, nice play by Janarius Robinson. They call him J-Rob.
Another third down here. Let's see. They brought pressure last time, and sometimes they try to mix it up. They brought 3, dropped 8. That's what Louisville did a lot to King. They wanted to force him to make throws from the pocket, which he was able to do. See what Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator, dials up here if he's going to play man-to-man and challenge the receivers. Bring some pressure.
Clean pocket, end zone throw, and Harley went up, and he was grabbed. It was a nice over-the-shoulder throw. Renardo Green may have grabbed him up high. A couple of flags come out.
Yeah, it looked like he got a hold of him in the face mask. Up in the, yeah, well, let's see at the end of this play. Yep, oh, yeah. Got him right there. Good matchup for Miami. You get a safety matched up against your slot in man-to-man, you're going to win that more often than not. Good call by the official.
Yeah, it was going to be right over the shoulder. Would have been a beautiful throw and catch.
Defense number 8. Foul occurred in the end zone. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
First and goal for the Canes. Trying to make it 5 for 5 tonight. Possessions and touchdowns. Cheney in the backfield. He's got it, and the freshman muscles his way and breaks the plane. Touchdown Miami again. Superstar Canes fans love it. Cheney joining Jalen Knighton, his fellow freshman, who scored a couple touchdowns this season.
This is really tough on a Florida State defense that I think has a fragile mindset coming into this game because of what they've been through over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. And now to start this game, 5 drives, 5 touchdowns, down 35 to 3.
We feel again for Mike Norvell watching this game in Tallahassee on television. After the COVID test, he said it was a sickening feeling not to be able to accompany his team. It would have been his first game in this rivalry, and he can't be feeling any better now watching helplessly from a long way away as the Noles are being blown out here.
Yeah, a zone read, a defensive end. Robinson stays wide, easy read for King, and there's that leg drive. All these backs from Miami, not just the speed, but the power to get behind their pads and move a pile into the end zone for a touchdown.
Little assist there from Clark.
Yeah, Clark's grabbing people, throwing them into the end zone.
Young guy didn't need much help. He arrived rocked up and ready for college football.
We've talked so much about King. We just got to continue to, you know me, I love to talk about the offensive line. The offensive line is really done a good job with the execution. Just a couple miscues, but not much at all. It's not just 35 points. It's how they've gone about it, executing this offense tonight.
Shout out to Garen Justice Kirk, the new offensive line coach. He came over from UNLV. He was a line call, a play caller and an O-line coach there. Very, very positive guy. You think of most offensive line coaches who coach in those big bodies, they tend to be yellers and screamers. That's not his style, but it's connected well with this offensive line. They needed a boost in confidence. They needed a positive coach after last year.
Yeah, they were so young last year and now much more experienced. And this new system, balls coming out fast, playing with more confidence after the 51 sacks they allowed a year ago.
Gallis booms it into the end zone, and Florida State's 3:37 to work with before halftime. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Folks here in Miami be taking note. Celtics looked like the hungrier team last night as Miami was trying to close them out. Now in Boston, alive and dangerous, down 3 games to 2. NBA Countdown at 6:30, also streaming live on the ESPN app. The Heat, Miami coach here, Manny Diaz, a huge fan of the Heat, loves their culture, loves the unselfish attitude, uses the Heat as an example all the time for his Hurricanes football team. And Travis weaving his way, somersaults out to the 40-yard line.
And the way they started in their first drive, 14 plays, 68 yards, almost a touchdown, had to settle for the field goal. And since then, the last 4 drives, 11 plays, 10 yards.
And travels to be Hunted down from behind. That's Quincy Roche on the sack. Everybody in that Miami defense eating.
Yeah, the offensive line has their hands full. I mean, it's just, you know, even with Phillips out, Roche still has the ability to just go right around Washington. Keep in mind, Georgia Tech had success against this offensive line, putting pressure on Blackman. You knew coming in that the biggest story to me in this game, not just Miami's offense, the Canes' defensive pressure, and how would Florida State slow that pressure down, because it's tough to do when you have that kind of speed and you have the vulnerability that Florida State has on that offensive line.
Yeah, they haven't slowed them down, have they? A couple of sacks, a lot of pressures. 2nd and 18 for Travis. In the pocket again. Shows elusiveness, great athletic ability, and a burst up the field. And nice run all the way inside the 45-yard line. Kind of the broken play scrambles, the best thing they have going right now.
Yeah, well, with him in. Now he's, oh boy, now he looks like he may have sustained an injury of some kind. He's coming off the field with a limp, but obviously when things are covered, he gets back into that pocket and things are taken away from him. He has that ability to get away from the pressure much better than James Blackman with that suddenness.
Blackman back in the game now. And back to throw. Pressured again. Spins. Tries to stay alive. Retreats. And he'll be sacked again all the way back inside the Florida State 40. Nesta Jade Silvera, the defensive tackle, chased him down.
Yeah, but again, watch the left tackle for Florida State. He needs a tight end. He needs a back. He needs somebody to help him because it's a mismatch with Roche going up against him. But look at that entire defense. And James Blackman, once he got away from the initial pressure, he's got to get out of there and throw it away. He can't take that sack. And now you're looking at 2nd and 24 after a 14-yard loss.
It's been a frequent problem, you know, trying to make a play, especially when you're down 25.
Sure.
It'll be 32. You got to keep up with the margin here. And the ball inside to Corbin. It's a block. Sidesteps a man and into the secondary. That's a nice run. Very near the marker, all the way back inside the Miami 33. And it is a first down.
Boy, that was a great run. Nice cutback, and finally Corbin with a little bit of room to show what he can do. See Cooper coming back with that hand wrapped.
Blackman again pressured and has to just throw it away. The pocket was collapsing around him and there was nowhere to go on the edge. Jafari Harvey got that time. Close.
James Blackman has shown, I think, in his career that if his primary is open and he gets back and he gets the ball out, he's got a very good chance of throwing accurately. The challenge that I think he has is working through his progressions. Typically, he'll look at that primary, and if it's taken away and different colored jersey flashes, he's getting out. He starts to bail, and it eliminates his chance to execute in the offense because he's just not quite patient enough.
And motion Terry out of the backfield to the right of the formation. Blackman pump fakes. He has no chance to look downfield. He is swarmed again. Jared Harrison Hunt. The backup has got a ton of talent.
Yeah, and this time they actually, you see the four getting in. They bring a late blitz, but again, they don't have to blitz with this defensive line against this offensive line. And they feel that Harrison Hunt is a future superstar. He's a freshman, young, incredibly athletic, played hoops, really just a raw product that is only going to get better and better on the inside of that defensive line.
Yeah, made an impact in Louisville, doing so again tonight. Back to the Bear for our Affleck trivia question answer. We were so distracted by your bling, Bear. We didn't really focus our efforts on the question.
It's understandable to be distracted by that. But to answer tonight's Affleck trivia question, we asked you the last time an unranked Florida State team went on the road and beat a ranked opponent, and who was the quarterback of that Florida State team. It was 2009 when Christian Ponder led the Seminoles to a win at BYU.
Barry, when you do your voice on the Affleck, it's like you're reading some kind of literature or something. You're just very.
It's a storybook delivery, isn't it?
Yeah, storybook delivery. I think that's got to be your new photo for the rest of the year, Bear. Not just tonight because you're back down in Miami.
I'm all for that. We can make that work. They got the turnover chain one as well. We can do like a two-shot of it, side by side.
Well, here comes that Miami pass rush again. Look out, Mr. Blackman on 3rd and 20. And this time they give him a little time, but the throw is inaccurate and would have been way short of the marker anyway. He was looking for Pokey Wilson. 4th and 20.
You can just feel the body language of this Florida State team, the frustration on both sides of the ball.
Blackman was almost the hero of a victory over Miami 3 years ago. A couple touchdowns. They had the lead until very late. Remember Darrell Langham made that great catch in the end zone, an unlikely late push by the Hurricanes to snap that streak of losses to Florida State at 7. Blackman played pretty well in that ball game, but it has been a struggle from start to finish now. Coming up, the Dish halftime report. Kevin Negandhi, Mark Sanchez, Booger McFarland. We're going to have all the scores and highlights. You're going to want to check out what happened on the wild Saturday of college football as the SEC joined the party. That Texas and Texas Tech overtime game. Wild one in Lubbock. Mike Leach era beginning in incredible fashion in Mississippi State. Well, he better be very nice to her tonight, because the Florida State fans, who usually make up a sizable contingent here, they used to make out 30,000 in normal times. A lot of their fans in this place. You hear the war chant and so on, but I don't see many tonight.
No. I think even coming into the game, I think Florida State fans were hopeful, but I think most people who have watched these two teams play and the challenge that Mike Norvell has and what he's trying to do and what he's trying to build, it's going to take time. And coming in tonight, you're taking on a Miami team that's in their second year in this under Manny Diaz and what they're doing, and this was going to be a tough ask for Florida State coming in, but 35-3 at half. At least right now, we don't know where this thing might go.
It's a tough ask here in 4th and 20. Need to get the ball to the Miami 23. And here comes the pressure. Blackman had no chance at all. Off the edge, Bubba Bolden on the safety blitz.
Yeah, they overload the right side of the offensive line. They've been bringing most of their pressure from the left side against Washington. This time they just bring a couple more than they can handle, and Blackman had nothing he can do except eat the ball on 4th and long. And now the Canes have the ball at midfield, and you know what Rhett Lashley's thinking. They're thinking about trying to get another score.
Yeah, meanwhile for Blake Baker, Diaz, Ephraim Banda, defensive brain trust. This is what else can we dial up? Everything's working. They're pouring it on too. It's not just the offense. 44 seconds. A couple timeouts for Miami if they do feel like keeping the throttle full open here. Harley slips a tackle and is knocked out at the 40-yard line. First down, Miami.
Well, I've been impressed by Harley tonight. Really, all the receivers. They've been challenged by the Miami staff. It's not just about Brevin Jordan and Cameron Harris and Donald Cheney and Jalen Knighton. Will Mallory. We need these receivers to start making plays. I think they're hearing that message, and they've come out and playing with a kind of a chip on their shoulder collectively.
I agree. 4 catches for Harley. Dee Higgins has the touchdown catch tonight. Pressure here. King has to throw it to the bench as Knowles brought the heat with Brooks from the stud position.
Yeah, Adam Fuller, these first 2 plays, he's anticipating that Miami is going to attack down the field in the air, through the air, and he's brought pressure, back-to-back plays. He's brought linebacker blitzes.
And now false start.
Movement. Yep.
False start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And I think defenses are going to start to look at Brevin Jordan and saying, okay, let's bracket 9. Let's take him away. Let's try to double team him. Who else can beat us in the passing game? Who else is going to beat us one-on-one? And I think Wiggins, we've seen do that tonight. Pope's made plays. Harley's made plays.
Harley's got it again. Started inside and went outside and is muscled now back at the 40-yard line. A lot of frustration boiling over in that Seminole bench.
I think Asante Samuel turned to the ref and said he was coming at me after the whistle there. Harley's he's hyped up tonight.
3rd and 10.
Already in field goal range.
Yeah, I was going to say,
guy.
I was thinking that, Kirk. We're on the same page, even though we're in different places. 3rd and 10. We might get to see another Borregales missile from long range if they don't convert here.
There's Travis going in. Remember, we showed him limping after that great carry. Jordan, the slot to the left.
Play clock winding down. Do they see it? Yeah. Timeout call by Miami. Even 5 yards back, he still might be in field goal range, Molly. He's already one of your favorite players in college football, right?
Yes, I love Jose Borregales. He does a lot of self-talk before kicking, and this is the lock screen on his phone. The counting is his foot placement as he takes 3 steps back and then 2 steps into his kick. He tells himself, get comfortable, don't think about the outcome, think about the mechanics, like his aiming point and his left knee placement. And once those shoulders are back, he's ready to go, and that ball is as good as in. He says repeating this to himself doesn't allow time for doubt or nerves, and it's working. Borregales has swag.
I love the mechanics. My spotter, Mike Black, appreciates all that stuff, Molly. Well done. Interesting character. Remember, he kicked 3 field goals against Miami for FIU in a victory over the Canes. He went to their camp. He was impressive. Didn't offer him a scholarship. But now he's living his dream as a grad transfer and booms that into the net from 57, a school record.
I loved his reaction. I said it when I watched it live. The reaction was almost more impressive than the kick. He was just kind of like, you know, what's the big deal? That's what I do.
When he made field goals against Miami last year, that was not the same reaction. He was running all over the place celebrating.
Yeah. Well, you guys have really been practicing rolling your R's since you guys have gotten down there.
Hey, no, it's tennis, my friend.
Oh, that's true. Tennis, of course. But Molly, boy, she had that.
She did.
On.
Harris spins free, then he knocked down, and he got grabbed in the face mask. Oh, we were going to see a field goal attempt, and now we got to put it on hold.
That was the 57-yarder on the right hash after last week.
We're rooting for a field goal attempt.
Face mask, defense, number 33. 15-yard penalty, automatic.
Man, the Noles have got their money's worth on these face masks tonight. That was Gaynor just turning and twisting and dragging Harris to the ground.
Miami's going to have to hurry and get up to the line of scrimmage here. See, they're in that tempo mode. He's going to try to fire it, maybe.
Yeah, they got a timeout. They'll keep it.
Yeah, I got to hold that last timeout.
I thought you were telling me the coach right to the whistle here, full throttle all the way to the.
They are. No. They're saving that timeout. They fire it. Now you got that timeout in case you get tackled in bounds. I wanted to see him take a shot. I still think they may take a shot at the end zone. Yeah, one-on-one coverage.
Pressure brought, picked up. They do take it downfield. Shot Harley. Couldn't get it in bounds. Made a terrific hands catch down near the pylon, but he was out. And now it's 7 seconds to go. Still have the timeout.
Yeah, you still have the timeout. And you know, you can take a shot. You trust King to make a good decision here. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. And, you know, try to maybe whether it's Brevin Jordan or it's, you know, we saw earlier Dee Higgins got downfield and won a one-on-one matchup.
Got to get the ball out quickly, but then you got to get down and call the timeout or get out of bounds quickly too. Well, it's just going to be a quarterback run. King scoots down and uses all but 2 seconds. It is a first down for Miami. Borregales is trotting out to try a field goal here. Boy, you have to love what you see from D'Eriq King. You see why the coaching staff has full trust in him.
Yeah, great composure. You know, they took their one shot. Now they just move it down the field a little bit closer, give him a better chance of hitting another field goal.
Eye black, ink. He's got the look. Doesn't want to look like a kicker, he said.
He's accomplished that.
But he's a very good kicker. 31 yards to make it 6 for 6 in his Miami career. He looks like a Sunday-ready kicker right now.
Sure does.
Chose to play one more year of college football, living his dream as a Hurricane. And Miami, 333 yards of offense, 5 sacks by that defense. Scores points on all of their first.
About them going up to Death Valley to play Clemson, because that's when you really find out in 2 weeks how good this Miami team really is.
we'll have time to talk about that, partner.
But in the meantime, we got this second half. Yeah.
Canes with 333 of total offense in that first half. King 22 of 30, a couple touchdown passes. And it's been a rough evening for Florida State. I'm going to bring it out here. This is Travis J trying to make a play and gets out across the 21. Pacific Life game summary.
Well, it's been, if you just are tuning in and seeing the score, it's been obviously all Miami. Look at that, 6 possessions, 5 touchdowns. Great plan that they put together. Very diversified in how they attack. D'Eriq King in command. And this has been a story, too. 9 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a pick in the first half. They've been able to get after James Blackman pretty much at will, whether they're bringing pressure. They didn't bring a whole lot of pressure, usually just relying on that front four to beat the Noles on that offensive line.
Blackman at quarterback. When we saw Jordan Travis taken to the locker room, and the pass complete out over the 35-yard line to Cameron McDonald, the tight end, forced out by McLeod. 38 points by Miami, Kirk, is the most points that any team has scored in a half in this series. And this is meeting number 65. I was trying to get lined up. Blackman keeps it, and the slant incomplete. It was Bubba Bolden in the area, tried to get it to Douglas.
Really, the only drive that we saw, where obviously it was Florida State's opening drive, where they were able to get pressure or to be able to get points, was and they remember we kept bragging on how aggressive they were and how they were attacking, and they were kind of setting the pace of the game early. And since then, of course, it's been a struggle. So I'm anxious to see what they do after meeting at halftime. And the score might not be attainable, but just continue to compete.
Throw it underneath to McDonald again. They found a weapon. A flag is down to the secondary as he's muscled out near midfield. Yeah, they scored a touchdown on the first possession against Georgia Tech and then began to struggle. Protection broke down. Some offensive linemen went out of the game and didn't reach the end zone.
Holding. Offense number 11. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Warren Thompson, the receiver. But the difference is the Yellow Jackets offense wasn't nearly as frightening or efficient as Miami. So the Noles were able to stay in that game until the end.
Just when they look like they have another first down and getting the ball to McDonald, another miscue that prevents that with the holding call on Thompson.
Spot foul moves it back. It'll be second down. 8 to go. Play action. Blackman fires to McDonald again. So they feature the tight end here, and he's able to get a first down out near midfield before McLeod could trip him up.
Well, we wondered what adjustments they might come up with as a staff to try to be able to get some continuity established and get this offense moving. And right away, clearly the answer is to try to find McDonald in space underneath or matched up against those backers.
Here's another slant. Yeah, he's a tough matchup for a linebacker. They do move him around. You're right. Didn't feature in the first half at all.
No, and the other thing they're doing, and I would have thought they started doing this in the first half, is getting the ball out fast. Like, you can't hold the ball with this defensive line going against this offensive line. You're either going to have to move the pocket, the launch point, or you're going to have the ball come out fast, because it's really the Florida State offensive line is obviously overmatched against the speed and the power of Miami's D-line.
Yeah, 5 sacks only tells part of the story for how tough it was for those Noles quarterbacks. And there's the pitch to Corbin, and fly up to make the play is Ryerson. He's been active tonight.
He has. And Keontre Smith is also. Now we got a little bit more, and I think Terry's become really frustrated 5. You know, I think that was part of Miami. And when they watched the film, you can really watch the body language of Terry. And you know, if he doesn't get catches, you can get him into a mindset that's not going to be very productive for Florida State. And he's not had a great night, and I think his frustration showing. I don't know if it's going to go both ways or if it's just on Terry. He was obviously involved.
There are fouls by both teams.
Yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 8. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 5. The foul's offset. Third down.
So it's Ivy and Terry. Terry was a preseason All-ACC first-team guy. There's another look at it. And you're right. He was frustrated against Georgia Tech, and even more so tonight.
Yeah, and they, like I said, they came in here wanting to really frustrate him, getting their hands on him, make him work to be able to get open. He's their best receiver, and they wanted to make his night tough. And DJ Ivy and Terry, they've been going at each other all night, and finally it just kind of blew up.
Extended stuff. You get a chokehold, ripping helmets off. 3rd and 10 after the offsetting penalties. Blackman, slight confusion there, but he made a lot out of what seemed to be a broken play. First down near the Miami 40.
That's, yeah, like you said, Chris, I don't know if he improvised there or if that just opened up, but good job of being able to get on that left side, find that crease there, and get upfield and pick up that first down. I think it was a quarterback counter. We had a couple linemen pulling around for him to get underneath of. Blackman's not, you think about the quarterback running, you think about Jordan Travis. Not Blackman.
Travis has come back in on the field. There's the completion made to Hokie Wilson, about an 8-yard gain.
This drive kind of reminds you of the opening drive, right? Opening drive of the game, where they had a lot of different looks and things were coming at the Miami defense very quickly with the up-tempo approach, quick throws, ball out of the hands quickly for Blackman.
And Blackman, another quick throw to Guy Douglas, and he's knocked down right near the marker by Ivy. 3rd down and 1.
And remember, this is a second game of the year for Florida State. I don't care if you lose by 100 or if you lose by 3. It's a loss, right? The most important thing in a first-year head coach is getting your team to buy into your methods and your philosophies.
Douglas, nice catch, went down to get the low pass. You see some spirit on that Florida State side as the Noles march here.
And a big part, just to finish there, a big part of that is second game of the year. See them fight. See them continue to battle all the way to the end is a big part of that culture that he's trying to change here.
Corbin knocked down at the 11-yard line.
I like Corbin. He's a couple times we've seen him get out and show that he's got a little bit more wiggle than I think most people would give him credit. He's known as more of a, he's got some size. He's a 220-pound guy, but he can lower his shoulder and he can also get around people.
About 500 yards rushing in a couple of seasons at A&M. Is also a kick returner, pretty good receiver. You're right, not known as a home run threat, but he'll get the tough yards. 2nd and 1, play action. Blackman flips it, and it's McDonald again. And McDonald scores a touchdown. The Noles offense finally finds the ends in a good-looking 12-play, 79-yard drive.
Yeah, this drive, again, very reminiscent of the opening drive. This time they're able to put it in the end zone. Love the screen, getting a lot of pressure. One of the ways you deal with that pressure is you screen. Tight end does a good job of selling it, like he's staying in to block in pass pro, and then just releases after the defender gets by him. And then how about the blocks downfield by the offensive lineman, hustling downfield. Maurice Smith, good job there. Also love Taylor, the right tackle, got out there.
McDonald out of Long Beach, California. Really the weapon in that drive. He blocked a punt, which was scooped up for a touchdown. Had a couple of picks. Broke up 4 passes. Not bad for a separated shoulder, Mr. Herbstreit. One of your favorite players of all time.
I love him. Yeah, I talked about him last week. Love Ed Reed. My first Miami-Florida State game was 2000. What a way to get introduced to this great matchup.
Hope knocked down to 27. Molly?
Well, Florida State Deputy Head Coach Chris Thompson told his team at the half, just score once and we'll get some momentum. So he has to be happy after that last drive. He admitted that his team is really frustrated, but he wants them to play through it and grow from it. But don't expect Miami to take their foot off the gas. Manny Diaz said he loved the consistency from his offense, but he wants to see how they do when they're successful. So they're going to approach this game like it is a 0-0 game. And you guys know Rhett Lashley is absolutely loving that.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that Diaz would be a little bit unhappy about the way the defense played in that opening series of the third quarter. And now this Canes offense, which has scored in all of its possessions, does go right back to work. Hope on the near side, tightropes his way, and it's to the 36 before Warner knocked him out. Pick up a 9.
Pope has great speed, and especially those quick throws. If he's got a cushion with a corner, he's shown tonight he can make a guy miss. Now they get tighter coverage from Samuel.
King keeps it and spins and eludes the tackle Jay briefly. It's a first down to the 43.
When I talked with Lashley this week, he brought up Nick Marshall. Remember, of course, Nick Marshall at Auburn with some of those great offenses that he had in the SEC, and said that King has the ability to run the ball to the point where, like a Nick Marshall. You know, he said he might be even faster. He might not be as quick, but he could be faster. And I thought, wow.
That's high praise as a runner, but he throws the ball better than Marshall.
That's what I was going to say. Is when I think about D'Eriq King, I think about him passing the football, right? Sitting in that pocket at Houston and making plays. Of course, he can run, but you add that element as this offense keeps growing, zone read and quarterback power. That's a scary thought.
And another pass zip. Harley goes down low, makes a nice catch. He's had a nice bounce back game. It's another first down, and they are full throttle, still playing with tempo here.
Oh yeah, tie game in their mind. They're gonna keep doing what they do. We've talked about that the last 2 weeks, but these receivers doing a really good job of winning on the perimeter and getting separation.
They bring pressure late, but King delivers across the middle, and the ball came out. Harley had a chance, couldn't quite hold on. Bernardo Green was defending, and he comes up limping.
Yeah, D'Eriq King this time, you can see Florida State bringing pressure. He stays in there, makes an accurate throw, and Harley just unable to hold on to that. And Marvin Wilson getting in there, the linebacker blitz coming in late, Leonard Warner. What a great throw, and keep bragging about these receivers, and that time Harley a chance for a big play, reaches out, looks like he has it. The tough part was stretching out. He did, and then he just couldn't hold on to the ball.
Green, who is still down to the field, made a great hustle play to knock the ball out of his hands a split second before it would have been a catch. Take a break.
Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
How about this scoreboard of the old Orange Bowl? Wide white 3, reminding Matt Munyon.
Like I said, Chris, that was my introduction to Miami, Florida State. And really, after Miami trying to fight back to credibility coming out of probation, that win right there signified that Miami was back as an elite program, beating Florida State that day.
Dorsey to Shockey in the final minute. Back and forth. That was a
funky. That was just incredible.
Missed the old Orange Bowl?
Oh, my gosh. Absolutely.
2nd and 10. Harris leaks out of the backfield and steps down at the 35.
I'm from the Big Ten. I'm looking around and watching the Orange Bowl for all it has to offer, and just in awe of the energy in that stadium. It's very different than any other stadium in college football. Or it was, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, energy, yes. Amenities, no. But you trade the amenities.
Right. Nah, we don't care about that. But it rocks. It rocks.
Yeah, we were talking. We were here a few years ago when the Canes had it rolling. Got up to high as number 2. They beat Notre Dame and Virginia Tech in front of full houses, and it kind of felt as close as it could in here to the old Orange Bowl. It's kind of a shame from the Miami perspective. There aren't more fans here tonight. Capped at the 13,000 maximum. Because if you're allowed to have fans, Kirk, I'll tell you, this is the kind of game, you know, Miami, they love the Canes when they're good. They really do. It's a Dolphins town, but it's also very much a Hurricanes town. And this would be a celebratory season if only they were allowed to tailgate and be here. A 4th down run, Knight slammed right into the line, and they're going to, Knowles had the football. Yeah, they came out with it. It was a fumble, and very late running out with the football. I
think the ball came out, Chris, before he hit the ground. At least it looked like it. It's the freshman. It's the one-way freshmen don't get more carries as they drop the ball. Short yardage. Yep, it's out.
Ran into a blocker. Corey Durden down there near the bottom of the pile.
So Florida State, they get a touchdown. Defense comes out. First stop of the night against this Miami offense.
This is the first turnover of the year for the offense, and had a couple of Pope fumbles on punts. So the Noles trying to chip away down 28. Back to work. Play action. Blackman hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. And another ooh and ah. There's a shot on Warren Thompson, and a couple flags come out. Gervin Hall, the safety.
Yeah, Gervin Hall looked like he may have led with his crown of his helmet. We'll have to see in the replay.
Yeah, this definitely looked. There were 3 flags in the field. Everybody saw it.
Love Taylor's down the right tackle.
He's trying to get to his feet over there.
Targeting defense number 26. 15-yard penalty. The previous play is under further review.
And this is the kind of play they've been trying to outlaw. Thompson obviously across the middle, completely defenseless, turns around and boom. Hall really paid the price. That's as dangerous on the tackler as it is the man that he hits.
Well, that's the reason they're trying to enforce this, to eliminate it and have players learn a different way.
Wow, he's fortunate that he's not injured.
You could really see there in that super slow-mo. Thompson, he saw at the last second, and he lowered his head almost to brace for the contact.
Each of the first 2 games, Amari Carter has been flagged for targeting. Then the review took that away. It seems unlikely that they'll reverse this one.
That was quick.
At the further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Number 26 is disqualified.
Remember, the next game for Miami after the bye week is the road trip to Clemson.
And Chris, that's one of those. That's one of those where you're just happy to see 11, Thompson up, and 26, even though he led with his helmet. Good to see that they're both up and okay. That was potentially a dangerous hit.
That looked very scary. Blackman rolls his chase, was wanting to throw back. Now he'll just have to airmail it into the bench. Jonathan Ford chased him.
Go back to that last drive for Florida State when they opened up this second half. It was a lot of quick throws, a lot of shots to McDonald, the tight end. I think he had maybe 4 attempts. He was able to come up with 3 catches, including the touchdown, and just getting the ball out of the hands of Blackman quickly. Let's see if they can try to get back into that mode on this drive.
It was actually 4 catches in his first career touchdown for McDonald in that touchdown drive. And shift tight ends around to the right side of the formation and hand it back running to the left, and making a cut is Tafili. And Tafili, the talented electric young freshman out of St. Petersburg, they feel like he's got a big future, and he's a spark that this offense is needed.
Absolutely. Love that they moved the tight ends over and then brought the counter the other way with one of the tight ends with a couple of the linemen coming around to lead Tafili through there. He's twitchy. He's got good speed.
Wilson on the far side. Starts for about 3. Forced down by Blades.
This starting to look more like what you would have expected to see from Florida State tonight. Just the rhythm to this offense, these drives, the last couple drives. Take some of the heat off of that offensive line by getting the ball out.
Blackman pump fakes and now dumps it off to a wide open Tafili. Freshman little head fake, and he's going to be knocked down at the 5-yard line. Amari Carter wrestles him out. We're seeing number 9 make an impact in this possession now.
You get into a game 38-10, and it's a good opportunity for some of the younger players to get a chance to see what they can do. And Tafili just kind of sneaks out of the backfield that time. The linebacker wasn't there to pick him up, and he had room to run. Back-to-back plays that 9's able to get out in space.
He's 180 pounds. They want him to add strength, of course, and he will, part of the developmental program for young players. But you can see the burst. You can't coach that.
Well, and especially for an offense that right now, just week 2, they're searching for playmakers, searching for people. Looks like Cam Williams is down. They're searching for difference makers, guys that can win one-on-one battles.
Tigers, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. They'll be going for David Pollock, former Dog Star. We'll have that game for you in prime time on ESPN next Saturday night.
Georgia, a little bit of a slow start today, offensively especially, until they found their kind of their groove there in the second half, but still trying to figure out the offense.
They figured it out late. Auburn, with all those new faces on defense, an impressive win over Kentucky. Wildcats came in inspired.
Offense, number 51, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Now it's just Baby and Johnson, the guard, and they'll back him up 5 yards. Just such a struggle. They're trying to build on this momentum, get another touchdown here, and now it's backed up to the 10. Second and goal.
Kenny Dillingham calling the plays tonight. Mike Norvell, the head coach, so instrumental in this offense over the years and this year as well, calling the plays and directing traffic as the main man.
Blackman flips it back, and that time they were all over Cam McDonald, the tight end who scored a touchdown a little while ago. Gilbert Frierson, another tackle.
Yeah, we've called his name out probably more tonight than we did against Louisville, maybe times 2. He's been all over the field, especially that time locked in on the tight end McDonald. We talked about the 4 receptions, and Frierson got the memo on the sideline. 87 White. Don't let him in the red zone make a play.
Third and goal. Figure that they've got a couple plays to get it. Down by 4 touchdowns. Corbin is the back. Play clock got to hurry here. 3-2. And just before a 5-yard penalty, the timeout called on the Seminole sideline. One of those head coaching duties that Chris Thompson, deputy head coach, is taking over for. So they'll talk about the third and goal. Mentioned the primetime collision on ESPN between Auburn and Georgia. Is it the 125th meeting, Marcamento, in that series? Think about that.
Yeah.
Century and a quarter century. Wow. ESPN College Football Primetime presented by PlayStation 5 and also on the ESPN app. That'll be fun.
Always fun when those two teams get together.
Seen a few games in that rivalry ringside after College Game Day was there, but it's always fun to call an SEC game when we get the chance.
You know, I'm sure Mike Norvell's at home watching, obviously, and you know, when your quarterback, who's played as much as James Blackman, lets the play clock go down and just no awareness at all that the clock is going down, the sidelines had to call the timeout. Got to get locked into the small things for James Blackman. He's got to be aware of that.
Third and goal. They bring pressure. It's picked up. Ball batted in the air, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Al Blades Jr. It was deflected by Bubba Bolden, and Blades will wear the turnover chain.
Yep, Blades gets the chain, but again, this is one of those plays like we talked about when Phillips got it, and we wanted to make sure Silvera got his opportunity to be recognized. Chris, you're right, Blades with the interception, but Bubba Bolden reacting quickly. Saw him come from the left of your screen there, just darted in, showing his range and his quickness, playing in center field. Watch him be able to read this, kind of senses that slant's going to be thrown, gets in there, gets his hand on the ball, knocks it up in the air, and Blades comes up with the interception. But boy, great job by Bubba Bolden.
Well, it was a flash of green darting in there, laying out, getting a hand on it. And the 4th career pick for Al Blades Jr., the legacy corner, 2nd time this season, as they break out that state of Florida turnover chain. Frustrating end to a long drive for Florida State. Well, the Miami offense has lost a little bit of its edge. A turnover in the last possession, and now the drop and the slant by Harley.
Yeah, Harley was so good in the first half. You know, we were talking about how he seemed to be playing with a chip on his shoulder and making plays and just had a great energy about him, and he's had a couple drops here. He had a big opportunity on the last drive. Came up a little bit short on that post.
Quarterback draw. King. Look at those quick feet. Center stepping in traffic. Breaks clear for a while. Great run out to the 40-yard line. You see the whole skill set now.
Yeah, there's De'Ara King, and the pressure that this puts on a defense. It's, again, you worry about them spreading you out, the quick throws to the sidelines, the shots they take downfield, but then you have to be aware, linebackers and safeties have to be aware of his threat as a runner.
And now a downfield dart, a diving attempt at an interception there by Jerry Jones. He was looking for Harley in the deep post.
And Jerry Jones does a good job of being able to catch up to Harley. ball underthrown a bit allowed Jones to get his hand on it. But, you know, in this defense, you're going to be out there on islands. You got to be able to hold up, and did a good job with his eyes recognizing the ball, and really almost came up with the interception.
Harris on 2nd and 10 is chased to the edge. Nowhere to run as the Seminoles swarm him for a loss. Josh Griffiths and Kalen DeLoach, two backup defenders for Florida State combining.
Just very, very happy to see Florida State right now battling. You know, they're down 38-10. Things could not have been any worse than 38-3, giving up 5 touchdowns and a field goal in the 6 possessions, and they could have easily gone in at halftime and came out the second half and just kind of shut down, but they've not. They've bowed up and they have battled, especially this defense, the way they played in these first couple possessions by the Canes, playing great ball.
True, and some backups for the guys that are out there battling, some guys that don't get a bunch of snaps, hungry to show what they can do. It's Wiggins in the flat, and he weaves and takes a big shot. Marvin Wilson, the nose tackle, all the way downfield, so I got a chance to hit a little receiver, and he made the most of it.
Big fella hustling, not just trying to make a play in the backfield. He's 20 yards downfield trying to come up with a play, and that's what you love to see, man. That was a...
Yeah, he led with his helmet, maybe. Let's see if Phil Lamagnier has an opinion on this one. And they were...
the previous play is under further review.
Yeah, all the Canes were pointing up at the big screen when the replay was shown here. Another look.
When you see, I didn't see it in real time, but definitely on the replay.
There's no question 21 does at the last minute. He dips down. He comes in with the crown of the helmet. I think replay here, stopping it's going to go with the targeting.
Wow.
Have another ejection.
That is a lot of force. That's a 300-pound guy who had a running start and lowered the helmet on a receiver. It's really good to see Dee Higgins pop up.
Full speed and hits him helmet to helmet. At 305
If I could point
pounds.
something out too, the difference between the ejection and a disqualification. The player earlier in the game who was for the second unsportsmanlike conduct, that was a disqualification, and the player actually does not have to leave the sideline effective this year.
That's Jalen Phillips.
But when you're ejected from the game, then you do need to leave the game and the sideline.
Interesting. Okay, good. I wasn't aware of that, and I don't know if Miami was aware of that. Ed Reed walked Jalen Phillips to the locker room.
Well, maybe Coach had a high standard and wanted to.
Yeah, that's true.
After further review, targeting, defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
They're complimenting the hustle of the big man downfield, but then it is the textbook example of targeting. And he is out.
Keep in mind that was a 3rd and long, and that would have set up a 4th down and about 3.
Yep.
Now they get the field, they get the first down after the targeting call.
Penalty is part of the story tonight. 11 of them for 108 yards against Florida State, which continues to be one of the most penalized teams in the country. It was a big problem last year. They were dead last in number of penalties per game, down near the bottom in yards per game. And it's been a persistent thing in recent years, and it continues to be for this team.
Yeah, and again, that's a big part of what Mike Norvell is trying to clean up. And the only way you're going to do that is you're going to experience this season with a new coach and new consequences, and you hope that the players will pick it up, and if they won't, you're going to play a different group of players, and you're going to recruit a different group of players, and you're going to eventually find guys who are going to do things the right way.
Cheney on the handoff. He fights hard. Look at the strength of the freshman. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage and wouldn't have it, and he's picked up about 8. Crowd here appreciates his effort.
That was great leg drive. We've seen that tonight from these Miami backs, whether it's been short yardage or they get into contact. they're tough to bring down. And Cheney, of the two true freshmen, has the size at 210 pounds, and he will not be brought down very easily with arm tackles.
How about this challenge for a
that time they gang tackle?
You got Harris in there hammering away. Then you got two very eager young freshmen, Knighton and Cheney, both really talented, different skill set, but fresh legs at this part of the game, wanting to make their mark.
You have rotating three backs, especially in that humidity, such an advantage. Durden out there chirping quite a bit, 16. Love to see the officials get a hold of that and control that.
Fourth down, they need a long yard here. And picking it up easily is Cheney, still fighting. Now, he's not backing off on the throttle at all. Brendan Grant brought him down, but number 2 wants to find the end zone.
Yeah, every time he gets the football in his hands, he runs with a purpose. You know, and that's one of the things that's great, Chris, when you have three guys that are capable. And they all cheer for each other, but they all want an opportunity. When they do get their opportunity, they're obviously trying to separate themselves from the other two, so they're running with purpose every time they get out there.
Harris,
Florida State.
Harris subbed in for Cheney. The Noles were trying to get organized. They flip it to Pope in the perimeter. They were allowed to substitute because Miami did, but they were still running guys off the field when the ball was snapped.
Yeah, a lot of confusion there. You see Marvin Wilson. I thought he was ejected. He's up at the top of the screen there at the 15-yard line with his helmet off, trying to encourage his defense. But after what Bill said, I thought he had to be removed from the
Actually, with targeting, you're allowed to, you don't have to have the walk of shame. You're actually allowed to stay on the sideline this year.
Okay. Well, that's good. He's out there trying to keep his defense.
I think it was, we used to drew a 10. When a guy would get ejected for targeting in the home, they would get applauded. They would draw attention to it. I don't know if that was the reason they changed the rule, but he's allowed to now stay out there. From the 9, 2nd and 6. Harris picks his way and looking for the hat trick, knocked down by Grant at the 5.
Very different drive, right? You know, we've seen King with the big plays. We've seen him throwing the football so many times, spreading things out. This time, they especially these last 3 or 4 plays, they're relying more on the ground game and that offensive line and Harris and Cheney.
Just another long, grinding drive. It was electric drives in the 3rd quarter for the Canes, and barreling in for the touchdown is Cheney. And he earned that touchdown. He was a tough runner throughout the drive. And the Dade County stud from a year ago builds the lead.
And go back to the targeting call in that 3rd and long. Marvin Wilson on a hustle play, just lowered his head, gave the Canes a first down, kept the drive alive, and eventually Cheney puts it in. That is a name, if you aren't familiar with Miami football, Donald Cheney is a name you're going to want to remember for not just this year, but the coming years. This true freshman will be a star in this offense.
A couple touchdowns tonight for him. It was Knighton showing what he could do a week ago in Louisville with a couple of touchdowns. They are set at the running back position in Miami for the future. To Kevin Nagandi.
Chris, we go to College Station. Texas A&M hosting Vandy. It was 7-5 at the half. Kellen Mond and Caleb Chapman making it 17-12 Aggies in the 4th quarter. That game on the SEC network. Next up for A&M, a road date against Alabama. They roll. They win 38-19. Harris with 3 touchdowns. Waddle with 2. Keep an eye on what's going on with South Carolina. They just scored. It's 31-27. Tennessee with the lead. Back to you guys.
Pretty wild opening Saturday of SEC football, Kirk. We didn't expect quite this many close games. Of course, the stunner in Baton Rouge with Mississippi State. KJ Costello breaking a conference record, 600-plus passing yards. And these are some key SEC games. Talked about the Auburn-Georgia game that we'll have for you next Saturday night in primetime on ESPN.
By the way, just great to have a full slate of college football games today. You know, it's been obviously a lot of work and a lot of stress, so many different things that so many people have gone through, but the SEC playing football today, it just felt right to have, you know, some of these games and some excitement, you know, within those games.
I thought they kind of eased in. On paper, didn't look like that many interesting matchups, but it certainly turned out differently. Monday Night Football matchup. This is the game you circle when the NFL schedule came out. Chiefs and Ravens. ESPN Deportes, and the app. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy. You have the pleasure of calling that one.
Not just Chiefs and Ravens. Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Yep. I mean, wow. I mean, just hold this graphic up for the next 48 hours. I mean, this is going to be must-see TV on Monday night on ESPN with these two going head-to-head. They have so much mutual respect for one another. And there's Brevin Jordan walking off.
Tate Rodemaker, the new quarterback for Florida State. He gets it to Tofili, so they've gone to the depth chart. We've seen Travis earlier in a kind of a multiple-use role. Blackman, a tough night, and now they'll bring out the true freshman from Valdosta, Georgia. Yeah, big tall kid at 6'4".
Anytime you bring in a true freshman with a first-year head coach, that means that Mike Norvell and his staff handpicked Rodemaker, and let's get a good look at him and his skill set and see what he has to offer. 6'4", 197 pounds out of, as you said, Valdosta.
It's a tough situation to break your college career on the road against a Canes defense that is not holding back.
No, they still have their starters in there, and they've been playing for 4 quarters, and they're playing at warp speed, and you've been over there watching, hopefully paying attention to all the calls and getting mental reps.
Shots out of Jordan Travis, who left the game, came back to the field. We believe he's okay, but they're just giving Rodemaker a turn here. 3rd and 10. Canes don't bring pressure, and the true freshman escapes the pocket and delivers a throw.
Good job.
That's a nice conversion.
Yeah, for a young guy walking into this rivalry and the speed of this game, to be able to kind of come off of that primary, work to his right there, and eventually, you know, that's a play that for a young quarterback, you know, if he was nervous, now he's kind of into the game. The thing he's got to be careful of is telegraphing his throws. Young quarterbacks have a tendency to stare down their targets, and the Canes will pick it off if he does that.
And a downfield throw, and it's intercepted. He was trying to get into McDonald, and that is Bubba Bolden. He's been a big playmaker for this offense tonight. Remember, got a hand on the ball that Blades intercepted. Now he's got a pick of his own, and there's a flag down back in the offensive backfield.
Yeah, he brought the safety over. We're just talking about staring at your receiver, and he looked to the right. Bolden was hanging back at the safety, and it brought him over.
Offense number 87 was covered up. The penalties decline. Result of the play is an interception. First down, Miami.
So Bolden gets an assist and an interception, now has one of his own, and the man who is a huge part of the success for Miami and Louisville having another big night tonight.
Voters, this team in green not being in the top 10 after this week and last week, that should change next week.
They're still firing away. Harley makes the catch. Obviously, the opportunity for Miami to move up. Both the result here and teams ahead of them losing.
I don't even care what happens in the other games. It doesn't matter to me. Just the way
I hear you for sure.
Playing, you know, they're definitely a top 10 team. If you've watched these games the first 3 weeks, Miami's a top 8 type of team right now.
Cheney tries to bounce it and drag down at the 50. Nice play by Woody. I mean, the rankings are almost meaningless this time of year anyway, and especially this year. But I think you're right. If you want to, based on what you've seen on the field so far and not what you thought coming in, Miami belongs up there, sure.
And again, we find out what's really going to happen with them in this year and where they're heading in 2 weeks when they go to Clemson. Miami will have a bye next week, and then they'll go up to Death Valley. And that's when, again, you get a chance to go toe-to-toe with the team that's won the championship. You know, what is it, 6 straight years, 6 or 7 straight years. That's when you really find out how far you've come.
Kings night may be done. Kosi Perry, the backup, is in, and he is slinging it into traffic. And incomplete, nearly picked off, trying to get the ball to Redding.
Again, this is not a program that gets up 45-10 with 13 minutes to go with a backup quarterback and just going to run the ball and work clock. It's just not. It's not in their DNA. Rhett Lashley will coach the way he coached in the first quarter. You know, and you may not agree with it. You know, old school football would say work the clock, run the football, but we're in 2020. It's a different approach for a lot of these offenses in college football.
We have a rare sighting, the Miami punter on the field, and it's not Lou Headley, the normal punter. Matthias Gask, because then he'll get a turn and he'll just boot it low. And the punt coverage team for the Canes gets to get into the. Oh, come on. Billy Bennell. It hasn't been a tough enough night for the Noles fans already to show wide right 1 and 2. Misses by Jerry Thomas and Dan Mowry against the Hurricanes. Back-to-back
painful
years.
Memories. Yeah, painful memories for Florida State fans.
Different kind of pain tonight. 3 different Seminole quarterbacks have thrown interceptions. Tate Rodemaker, the true freshman, and George is still back in there as they take over from the 13. Handoff inside. Tofili trying to get to the edge. Shows the speed and darts out. A couple yards short of the marker. No, they'll move it. He did get a first down.
He's looked really good in this second half. You know, he's had 3 times off the top of my head I can remember him getting the football in his hands, and it just feels a little bit different when he gets the football. And the coaches told us this week that they want to find different ways to get him the ball.
On the exchange, Rodemaker bobbled it, and then just decided to scoot forward. Yeah, you're right. And I think you're going to see Tofili continue to be a bigger part of the game plan, don't you? He's averaged about 11 yards and 3 carries. They tried to get him the football out of the backfield, too. He's been targeted a few times, caught a couple passes.
Absolutely. Yeah, right now, again, week 2, their new head coach, first year, he's searching to find out who he can count on, who can make plays for them in this offense. You know, the tough thing that I would just add is this offensive line has been a problem for about 7 years, 8 years. I mean, it's not like this is a new problem for Florida State. Mike Norvell and his staff inherited this, and they're just trying to figure out how do you call plays when you're losing the battle at the line of scrimmage against a team like Miami. You got to come up with a plan first to be able to deal with that, and you know, almost on a weekly basis. Instead of just calling plays you would regular call, you have to worry about how are we going to handle the line of scrimmage. And then you have miscues like that. So I mean, it's really, it's going to be interesting to see how this offense grows with this line.
You're right. It all starts that. It's a big challenge. The starting group has struggled a bit. They don't have a lot of depth, though. So when they have guys get nicked up, starters leave the game, things can really go downhill. That's what happened in the opening loss to Tech. And talk about an offensive lineman's confidence. Not a position that's well understood in that area, but you struggle like this again and again, and man, the group confidence level plummets, and it's tough to rebuild. Rodemaker, a flag is down in the pit, and he fires incomplete on the far side. But right on cue, it's another problem for this offensive line. It's going to be a holding call. Chance Williams, a true freshman for Miami, giving chase.
Holding, offense number 58. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Devontae Love Taylor, the tackle.
You know,
flag is picked up, and here comes a punt.
It's not just been that they've missed in recruiting. They've had so many injuries. I mean, going back to 18 and 19, they had 9 different combinations. 9 different combinations in 18. They had 8 different combinations last year. And, you know, they just, I think you bring up a great point. Continuity is such a big part of confidence for offensive linemen, believing in one another and counting on each other. It's like a team within a team.
Yep. Germano collects the low snap and gets a spiral boot. It's a very good one, bouncing, and a risky play. Picking it up on the fly there is Blade on the ground. He ran for 65 yards tonight. Perry, hands off, look out. Jalen Knighton, the Rooster, with a burst into Florida State territory.
Knighton saying, all right, now let's not forget about the other true freshman. Cheney's been getting too much love. He wants a chance to get the football, and of the 3, he's the most electrifying. I mean, if he gets to the edge, he's one of those guys that he can take it all the way to the house.
We did last week.
Yeah, he did.
Scored in a hurry. Then they forgot about him out of the backfield, and he ran like a sprinter and then leaned into the tape and dropped the ball just
That'll never happen again.
Second after he got
That'll never happen again.
They had a conversation with him about that. Now you got Robert Burns in the game, a fourth running back on first down. Perry looking to throw deep, launches the ball off the hands of Keyshawn Smith, the lanky true freshman, trying to go deep against Jerry Jones. No letting off the throttle, Mr. Herbstreit.
No, not at all. They're trying to get this one-on-one matchup, and again, we've seen Jones all night out there, and he's beat. I mean, the ball's a little bit late, underthrown, but he had separation. He got by him and had a chance to get a touchdown, but give Jones credit, able to catch up eventually and knock that ball away.
Not a typical situation where late in the game you put in an inexperienced backup. Perry, of course, a junior from Ocala, has played a lot of football. He's been a starter. He's come off the bench. He's played various roles for Miami, but he is a atypical backup in that he's played a lot of ball. Jerry Jones with the Noles down, and the last thing you need when you go on the road and go to 0-2 is injuries. We saw Travis Jay, the free safety, a guy who's taking on a bigger role in that secondary. Finally reported he was seen with crutches on the sidelines, and now Jones being looked at. Arm issue. You know, this is a real test of adversity. You know, Mike Norvell said he had a chance to be an example to his team going through what he's going through. Unable to be here, coaching virtually. It's a stress and a strain on the system. Everybody has contingency plans. We have to put them in place. And your head coach isn't here, and now this team's going to head back home 0-2 with a very difficult path ahead. And they're going to have to lean on each other. And this is going to be a test of the culture that he's trying to rebuild in Tallahassee. This was the last chance for the Noles seniors to beat the Canes. It's going to be 4 losses in a row. Perry flips it out. Burns has some space and is wrestled down inside the 30 by Dix. More fresh legs come in there for Miami.
Yeah, just what Florida State's defense wants to see, right? Burns hadn't been on the field much at all. In fact, that might have been his first play. Chance to catch the football and make some productive yards. But again, Lashley is not letting up with the backup Perry in.
Burns, another local guy who's carried the ball in the past, but now he's overshadowed by Harris and the 2 freshmen. So he's eager to make a mark here. He's still throwing. It's inaccurate. There was some pressure off the edge, and there's Josh Griffiths in the quarterback's face.
You know, Rhett Lashley is kind of become the last 2 weeks he's become almost a household name with the way this offense is executed with D'Eriq King. And through our prep week, throughout our week this week in prepping, he mentioned I have twins and he has twins. He has 10-year-old twins, Hudson and Thomas, and they're huge college football fans and big college game day fans. So I told him, if we got a chance, Chris and I'll say hello. So fellas, hope you're enjoying watching Dad do his thing again tonight.
How could they not? Dad comes home in a great mood. The whole family's in a great mood.
Exactly.
You got a bye week to hang out with the family, start game planning for Clemson. There's good for the Lashley household, right?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I'm not trying to encourage him to leave Miami in the future, but there's a future head coach, you know, in a few years. I mean, I don't know when, but
I'm already getting text, Kirk, from my Hurricane fans. Great job. Can we keep him now? They're already exactly what you're talking about. He's too good. They're going to come after him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just relax and enjoy what you got this year.
Exactly. But some guys, when you talk to them, they just have that vibe to them, you know, young assistants and coordinators. He's got that vibe.
Big time. Burns barrels down inside the 15. And Miami looking to go over the half 100. They haven't scored even 30 on Florida State in a while in this rivalry. Going back more than a decade. They got over that in the first half. Now the backups in there for the Hurricanes trying to grab those rings.
Yeah, again, I keep going back to when Norvell left Memphis to take this job. You know, it's a big job and a big opportunity. He knew what he was facing. He knew that this was going to take, you know, some time to build up to what the expectations are. And I think Florida State fans need to understand that too.
Perry keeps it and is knocked down hard. No, you had that culture change. Willie Taggart recruits. They had 4 Seminoles enter the transfer portal after the loss to Georgia Tech in the 2 weeks between then and now. It's a concern. Not all of them frontline players, of course, but it does hurt the depth, and it's a morale challenge, wouldn't you say, at this point, especially coming off this game?
Yeah.
Shot there at Jay on the sidelines with those crutches.
Absolutely, and I think that if you're Mike and this staff, you're talking about a kind of a visual of the future, an image of what this getting back to the glory years, and it can't happen in the snap of a finger. It's going to take time to do it the right way, where it has staying power, and you got to go out and recruit not just great 5-star players. You got to go recruit character, and you got to go find competitors and guys that will take pride in trying to build that up, and that being part of their legacy, bringing Florida State back. And right now, if I were recruiting for Florida State, I'd be looking for guys in that state that love football and they're not afraid of the challenge, and not just looking for guys that run fast in the 40 and they go to the Elite 11 and all the different all-star camps. I'm looking for guys that want to play ball and want to work.
If they have talent, it's also good, though, right? Of course. Perry flips over the middle. Wide open for a touchdown is Michael Redding III, and the true freshman with his first career touchdown. This feels pretty good for Perry, too.
Yeah, Perry, exactly. And Perry will be in a battle next year with Van Dyke to see who will become the quarterback to replace King. But nice to see the freshman Redding get a touchdown. And once again, no matter where they are on the field, they're going to try to get the linebackers and safeties with their eyes in the backfield and make them pay for it. And that's what they did there.
Well, they got Camden Price, Borregales as backup, a chance to get on the score sheet here with the PAT. And he knocks it through. The most points scored by either team in this series. It's a new record, 52-10.
Comes up with the interception. Talked about a young quarterback. You read his eyes. He's going to lead you to the ball, playing center field. Reads his eyes. Protects that football. Comes up with a big-time interception. Bubba Bolden having a great game after coming back into the film room after, I thought, a pretty good game last week and saying he wanted to play better. He did. He's telling his mom happy birthday.
That was nice. You get the whiteboard out there. You were the turnover chain, but the emphasis was on the happy birthday to mom.
Absolutely. Very cool.
The touchback from Borregales. Well, tomorrow night on ESPN, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics battled, tightened it up. Miami still leads 3-2. So down there at the Clevelander on South Beach, I have the TVs all tuned in. NBA countdown at 6:30. The NBA bubble about 3 hours north of here up in Orlando. Best of sevens have a totally different feel in these playoffs. You know, no go back and forth, no home court.
Yeah.
We've never seen playoffs quite like it, and it's been interesting. Very competitive series.
I don't know if you follow Major League Baseball, but the postseason starts. A team out of Cincinnati made it into the postseason.
All he needs is a 60-game season every year, and the Reds are contenders.
Oh man, it's been a long 6 years. They made it. They made that. I'm excited. I love postseason baseball. So, but we got 8 teams in both leagues going to postseason.
Yeah, local team here. Marlins got in there.
Congrats to Derek Jeter.
Maker hands it off to Tofili, and he's hit hard after a 3-yard gain. Boy, Kirk has some flags. His frustration is building here. Talking about what's ahead for Florida State, and look at those teams like Notre Dame, North Carolina.
North Carolina's tough.
You got 3 top 12 teams.
Tough. Pitt, NC State, Jacksonville State, NC State, Duke.
Are you looking for wins?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a 3-win schedule, probably. 4 maybe at the top. 4 at the most.
Well, that would not be the kind of rookie year that Mike Norvell and the staff looking You're saying that's not the ceiling. That's just what you're.
I was just looking. That's what I think. You know, and again, to me, it's not the amount of wins that a first-year head coach that is basically trying to steer the Titanic to get this program back to what it once was. It's more of the little things, and that's like watching their body language, watching their competitive spirit, watching how they plan for each other. Things like that are way more important to me than how many wins Florida State has.
Jeffrey Huff there in consultation with Diaz. 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, 1 on each team. So first down. Final 6 minutes. Is working on the ground game. Tofili getting busy as a sign of things to come. You feel like he might be perhaps the featured runner in this offense as they head into that gauntlet of a schedule. Take a look at what lies ahead for the Hurricanes. Talked about that collision in Clemson after the bye week, October the 10th. Tofili spins and is knocked down at the Canes 44. They'll be underdogs there, but based on the first 3 games, Miami will bring some confidence into Death Valley, which is, that's a great team you face. Not quite the same atmosphere than a couple of home games. Trip to Raleigh and Blacksburg. Low throw, far side, and it's Williamson. Knocked out a couple yards short of the marker.
Chris, we're just so used to always having the 2 divisions in the ACC. Of course, now we just have, with Notre Dame coming in, it's just one big conference. And even if they were to lose, they might beat Clemson, but if they were to lose that game and win the rest of those games, there's still an opportunity for a potential rematch and an ACC championship with Clemson. That's assuming, you know, if Clemson's able to keep doing what they've done for the last 6 years, which is pretty much beat everybody.
No reason to believe they won't.
No, not at all.
They don't play Notre Dame, the Hurricanes. Notre Dame, as you said, contender in the ACC this year. Very interesting game here. First week of December against North Carolina, because the Tar Heels figure to be in the mix as well. That could very easily have implications for the ACC championship game.
And I think on the road at Virginia Tech, it could be a challenging game and a competitive game. Those 2 teams over the years have had some great matchups, Miami and Virginia Tech.
Enter Sandman won't be quite the same in Lane Stadium, will it?
No.
On the maker far side, and catch is made. Come from Portier. The guys who didn't expect to play tonight are getting action late in this game.
I just think that the Miami fan base, they're entitled to buy into what they're seeing. Like this is, as I said, this is real. Like, this is not, look who they played. It has nothing to do with that. This has to do with the buy-in. You know, they're confident and they're believing. It's amazing what a quarterback and an offensive system can do to the rest of the entire team. Makes the offensive line better. Receivers are better. The defense is better. The entire energy around the program is better because there's confidence and belief. And this program hasn't had a quarterback that has been able to provide that in 18 or 20 years.
There's a nice back shoulder throw, and Portier makes the catch down inside the 5. So the freshman Rademacher trying to engineer a late touchdown drive after the pick he threw.
We have a great example of that just last year at LSU in Baton Rouge. Joe Burrow impacted not just that offense with Joe Brady, but the entire program, the defense, the belief of what they could achieve, and the confidence in the way they carried themselves.
Douglas cuts it back to the 1. That's a great point. There were a lot of areas of Miami's team last year, but there was not a great deal of confidence. An offensive line, offensive period, the kicking game, zero confidence in that. Now it's really all coming together.
Yeah, and a good look there at defensive coordinator Blake. We don't talk much about Blake Baker, but he's had a heck of a back-to-back weeks against Louisville and tonight against Florida State, holding Florida State to 10 points. He's also a great coach.
Easy to spot over there.
That's the point, right?
Signal the plays in. He's focused on Canes' backups, trying to keep the Seminoles out of the end zone here. Final minute 40 of this game. It's 3rd and goal from the 2.
Opening drive of the game, they got 3 points. Opening drive in the 3rd quarter, they got their touchdown. Other than that, they've not been able to sustain many drives.
Quarterback keeper all the way, and the head freshman is knocked down at the 2-yard line. And that's some inspired play by these Miami backups. Austin Cave on the stop.
Yeah, good job just kind of shooting, getting into that backfield. You know, he really loves to just put his defensive linemen and linebackers in a downhill aggressive mindset, trying to shoot gaps. That time they came free, made a play in the backfield. Almost feel like Florida State they're going to have to throw the ball here. They're not going to have much chance to get this in running. You got to rely on your receivers to make a play.
Douglas and Tafili are the backs.
Pressure.
Play clock at 1. Rodemaker rolls out. Tried to throw it. Is slung down. Ryan Ragone, a third-string striker player, makes the sack and snuffs out the threat.
Good find, Chris, on the board there. I couldn't find him. Ragone, 34. Outstanding job by you. But how about Ragone? We saw him coming. He showed that he was going to come. He just kind of slips that attempted block and goes right around him and brings down the quarterback. Good job.
6 sacks for this Miami defense. That's a moment that Ragone will savor. Doesn't get many chances.
That's awesome. Love the starters over there. Look at all the starters. They see him at practice every day, working hard. He gets his opportunity, and those are starters over there loving on him. That's great.
He's tired, but he's happy to have the stars of that defense around him, the cameras on him. That's a good moment. Miami backups just fighting to protect their goal line in the last minute of the game, and now that'll be it. Miami never scored more points than Florida State in this series history. They're going to make it 4 in a row, and these Noles seniors will leave without having beaten Miami. Comes at the end of a 7-year run of Florida State victories. And they're going to get the defensive coordinator. You got Blake Baker. You just got the Gatorade bath. That's got to feel really nice on a hot, muggy night. A little sticky. Now, coach is trying to keep the two teams apart just in case there's some jawing and some hard feelings. This is tough for some proud players at Florida State. They know a lot of the guys on the other sideline. There's some high school friendships and rivalries. So it makes the rivalry passionate, but this is a tough night for the Garnet and Gold with their head coach forced to watch at home in Tallahassee. They'll head into a tough schedule at 0-2, and Miami will go into a bye week at 3-0, pointing towards Clemson. Lots of reasons to be excited here in South Florida. Well, Kirk, great job from Nashville. Look forward to having you back in the booth.
Yeah, look forward to being back.
Bill Bonnell produced this game. Derek Mobley directed it. Thanks to our entire crew and to Molly McGrath. Great job on the sidelines. Next week, SEC football on ESPN Primetime, Auburn and Georgia. That'll be fun. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news for our entire crew here in Miami. I'm Chris Fowler. So long. The big night for the Canes, 52-10.